Hello, everybody, and welcome back to hold on, let me check my notes here. Yes, the box office dynasty.
Can't forget that shit, man.
I don't know, man. It's been a long week, all right? Sometimes you just need a pick me up, all right?
That's fair. That's valid.
But we are the box office dynasty. I'm your host, Josh.
And I'm Jack.
The other host. We are a team, and we are united today for a great episode. A lot coming out. The weather's nice, and man, just a good time. How you doing, Jack?
I'm doing good. This was a hefty week. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm having a good time.
We do have a lot to talk about, so I'm not even going to bullshit and waste any time or anything like that. We are going to pick a new Bible study film today. We're going to do that in a moment. Obviously, it cannot get any worse than last week. I really can't see any way.
Ass.
There's just no way. It's not possible.
It can't happen.
It's not. That might be the worst movie of all time.
So
And then we're doing things a little different. We're gonna do the news nuggets after the Bible study because we have a special guest joining us this week. We'll get into that in a minute. Then we'll go over our box office numbers, and we're going to talk about the big film in theaters this weekend, Michael, the biopic of Michael Jackson. Then we're going to talk about the other movie, the one that I was supposed to see last week when I saw the Mummy instead of the Mommy, and that is Mother Mary. So we're going to talk about that. Mommy Mary. Oh my God, I love you, Anne Hathaway. And then we're gonna review the Coyote v. Acme trailer that came out, and then we're going to finally go over season 4 of Invincible. The finale came out last Wednesday, so we will give our full thoughts on the season as a whole. So we have an exciting episode ahead of us, and I'm feeling pretty good. I know you aren't feeling so great. You said you had allergies.
Dude, if I look or sound like shit to anyone, my allergies are so bad today. I feel like allergies are so embarrassing too, you know?
Which
like I'm like, oh, my allergies are getting me. Oh, the flowers. Like I feel like
takes you back to like elementary school. But
I know.
like, but that's obviously and I get what you're saying, but it's obviously really stupid because the majority of people have allergies.
I know.
So it's not like we're going to sit here and be like, you have allergies. Like,
I know.
No,
but is it worse
like,
if everyone has allergies for me to be like, oh, my allergies, like everyone fucking deals with it?
Well, no, because there's definitely people who have it worse than like you do, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. Those people can't even go
break
outside.
out in hives. They can't. There are people, speaking of like allergies, there are people allergic to the sun.
I knew a kid in elementary school who was not allowed to go outside for recess, so every day a new student had to volunteer to be inside with him.
Oh, dude, now that's embarrassing.
They're like, who wants to stay inside with him? And then everyone's
it's like a beautiful day. They're like, nah, man, I want to go play in the fucking monkey bars. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, and then every now and then I'd volunteer and I'd do like computer. I play Super Monkey Ball or no, Bloons Tower Defense with him, you know?
Oh, like the different cool math games?
Yeah. Block swords, you know.
Oh,
shit.
my God. You probably fucking hated that guy, though, because he kept you from going outside.
No, he's like one of my best friends. I'm still friends with him to this day.
Oh, shit. Well, if you're listening to this, you're probably indoors because you can't go outside, Jack's friends.
I guarantee he's not listening to this, but that's my boy. That's my boy.
Do any of your friends listen to our podcast? I feel like all the guests we have are my friends.
Our shared friend listens, and then none of my friends listen to the full episodes because they're 2 hours long. But they
pick and choose the parts.
They follow us on all socials and they watch the clips. And,
but
they watch our TikToks.
Tell them to go. We put the chapters. They can go and listen to parts of it.
I know some of them do that. Sometimes they don't care about most of the stuff we talk about, but when there's something they're really into, like Invincible review, they'll probably listen to that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, if you're one of Jack's friends, you're obviously not listening right now because you don't give a shit. And you don't support your friend Jack, which is very sad. But
give me 2 hours of your time to support me.
You don't need the whole 2 hours. My friends don't listen. If you are a fucking Invincible head, go ahead, click into the podcast, click to the Invincible segment, and listen to that segment.
That's true. Listen to our amazing reviews. We say things that are hilarious and we say things that are just so true. Go ahead and skip ahead.
Like, that's the thing is, like, I love all the support. Obviously, the TikTok has had a lot of tremendous success lately, but it's not the full picture. We go into so much greater detail in the episodes. Like,
they gotta watch the TikToks, watch the clips, and then go, oh, I want more of that shit.
Yeah,
and then get in on
like,
Spotify.
Like a bald guy and a ginger. No, I'm all right, thanks.
Dude, yeah, no thanks. We're good.
I'm out. All right, so why don't we pick a new Bible study film today?
Yes, sir.
So basically, everybody knows how this goes. Book of Movies, New York Times. You comment the numbers. We pick a random one. We watch the movie associated with it. Last week we watched The Shooting Party.
Garbage.
But this week, hopefully, we're getting something better.
It's got to be uphill. It can't be as bad as last week's
The
movie.
week before that was Mad Max and Mad Max Fury Road,
I know,
which
it's
is
sick.
You
and
know,
listen, the New York Times determines these as the 1,000 essential movies to see. So these got to be good movies. Like,
it was selected. So it's selected by Manola Darji and A.O. Scott, and I'm talking directly to you, Manola and A.O. real quick.
Yeah,
The
we gotta
Shooting
talk about
Party.
something.
The Shooting Party is not an essential film to see. It's not 1,000. It's not 2,000. It's not 10,000. It's not essential.
It's an essential film to avoid if you
I'll
want to
tell
live
you
a happy life.
I'll tell you what. It's barely a film.
It's just
So,
there.
It's just there. It's a YouTube video
Trash.
at this point.
And that's
it's like
where we
the
watched
kind
it.
of that is where we watched
watched it on
it.
YouTube.
It's nowhere else to watch it. No one else. No
one else gives a
not
fuck.
even Tubi wants that shit, and Tubi is free.
We were the 62nd and 63rd reviews on Letterboxd.
That's not even 100. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna pick a new one. I got the numbers in the wheel. Are we ready, Jack?
I am ready.
All right. And we're off. Spinning the wheel. Where will it land? Nobody knows. We got number, an even 600.
Okay. Give me something good.
The Shooting Party, too, huh?
All right, I'm there.
Okay, I got it. We are watching 1987's The Last Emperor. Let
You
me
ever
look
heard of
this
that?
up real quick. It sounds familiar, but I'm not going to pretend like off the top of my head.
I know Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, this is actually on my Letterboxd watch list. Directed by
What isn't on
Bernard.
your watch list, bro?
Facts. Wait, do you know how many films I have on my Letterboxd watch list as of this moment?
1,100.
That's not a bad guess. I'm at 1,718.
Jesus, dude.
I add pretty much anything.
You'll
I'm
die
like,
before you see like
I'm not
half
gonna.
of those.
I don't think I'm ever going to watch nearly all of them.
No.
But I'll add a movie if it sounds interesting, if it has a person in it I like. Hell,
Yeah,
if the
always
poster looks cool, I'm like, bam, adding it. So
Yeah.
anyway, The Last Emperor, 1987, directed by Bernardo Bertolucci. And it stars John Lone, Joan Chen, Peter O'Toole. Interesting. I know him. Basically, the description says it's a dramatic history of Pu Yi, the last of the emperors of China, from his lofty birth and brief reign in the Forbidden City, the object of worship by 500 million people, through his abdication, his decline, and dissolute lifestyle, his exploitation by the invading Japanese, and finally, to his obscure existence as just another peasant worker in the People's Republic. So it's the life of the last emperor of this, I guess, particular time period in China.
And what was his name again?
Jack, I know. I said it, and I was like, oh, wait, hold on. You were like scratching your eyes because of the allergies, and I was like, all right, this guy. His name is, and I apologize. I cannot see how I'm saying this wrong. It's 2 letters as the first name and 2 letters as the last name. Pu Yi.
Is it P-U-Y-I?
Yeah.
That's Pu Yi.
Yeah. Pu Yi.
Winnie the Pooh Yi.
We're watching Pooey.
How many minutes is this movie?
It's long, but it's not the longest we've done. It's 163, so it's like 2 hours.
Jesus.
It's
2.5 hours?
It's 2.5 hours. Come on, man.
Yeah, but if it sucks.
You only value them. It's got a 3.9 average on here.
Okay, that's fine. The Shooting Party had like a 3.4 or something.
Right.
So
and you know what? The difference, at least between the two, is that, and I said I knew the Shooting Party wasn't really going to be all that because it didn't have a banner, like
Oh yeah, I know.
above.
It had nothing.
This has a banner.
How many
We're
reviews?
chilling. It's got 12,000 reviews.
All right, it's a real movie.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, this is I think this is a Best Picture movie.
Oh,
I'm double checking super quick.
That's all right.
Yes, this won Best Picture in 1987. This was
shit.
the Best Picture winner. So, I thought it was. I think that's why I had added it to my watch list at some point, is because it was a Best Picture winner. So, we will be watching in 2 episodes and reviewing the last emperor.
Yeah,
He's
shout
not
out
lost.
Puyi.
Puyi, let's
No,
go.
we know
Puyi.
exactly where he is.
Yeah, we know where he is. He's in China, dude. Actually, he's dead now, but the real Puyi's dead.
So now we are going to have a special guest come on.
Yeah, his name's Puyi.
His name's Puyi. Actually, everyone welcome Puyi real quick.
Puyi! No, so we are going to have a guest join us this week. He's been on the show once before, but this will be the first time that he is joining with you here, Jack. So it'll be an interesting dynamic. He was on the episode, if you guys remember, the Jackless episode. It was me and Killian, and this week's guest my friend Matt, friend of the show, longtime friend. We are going to bring him in, and we're going to have a good time.
Let's do it. It'll be 2 seconds for you guys and like probably 25 minutes for us.
Bro, no way. At least he's got the link from last time. All right. Time out, everybody. We're getting Puyi in. See, Jack, that was not 25 minutes. All right.
It was like 5 minutes.
It was like 5 minutes. It's 2 seconds for everyone at home. Okay. So as I was saying before, we have a special guest joining us for the rest of this episode. You remember him from the Jackless episode, but he's back with Jack. It's good friend, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, my buddy Matt. Matt, how you doing?
Doing great. I'm excited to be here with Jack this time.
Yes, let's go.
I'm very excited just to be here, talk about these movies, and just be with you boys. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be fantastic.
I love it. I'm very excited that you're here. It's lovely meeting you, dude. And,
yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you for taking over that one episode when I was gone, when I was MIA.
It was big shoes to fill.
It was a great
shoes to fill.
Listen, it was great. I've heard no complaints since. So
okay,
that's because you haven't heard anything because nobody watched it. It was 3 hours. You didn't hear complaints. You didn't hear any positives either.
That's right. We didn't hear anything.
No, it was a lot of fun. Jack, Matt, and Killian filled in admirably, and I really wanted though. And obviously, I love Killian. He's been on the show 4 fucking times. He'd be here every week if we let him.
That's true.
I really wanted this trio as well. I want to see the dynamic. We know the Killian, Jack, Josh dynamic. We even know the Brandon, Jack, Josh dynamic from like ages ago. But now we got the Matt, Jack, and Josh dynamic. So
it's gonna be a power trio here. I could already feel it. I can feel the aura.
Welcome to the show, Puyi. Welcome to the show.
Puyi.
Matt, you'll understand that when you watch the first part where
you gotta watch it back.
Okay, when I watch it back, I'll understand it. I'll be nodding. I'll say
I got that one.
Puyi's. He's it's like the Drake meme when he's like around the computer.
Duh.
All right, so we're going to get started with some news nuggets, just some little nuggets of news from throughout the week. Jack, I know you have one. I always end up having the most, and I'm going to ask ahead of time. Matt, did you bring any with you?
I didn't. I mean, I think the one that I was going to bring, we're going to talk about regardless here. So I'm excited to see, but no, I've come empty-handed for this part. But if I think of one during I will.
If we go through, I always let Jack go first because, like I said, I always have way more than him because I just fucking.
I always assume if I don't have it, you do, so I don't really pay too much attention to getting stuff.
And that's a fair point. So if we don't get to it, Matt, at the end, and you want to quickly throw it out there, be our guest.
Okay, sounds good.
Because you're our guest.
Because right.
Jack, why don't you take the floor?
I don't know if I'm assuming you boys heard, but we're all avid Letterboxd users. And what I just wanted to talk about for a minute is that the controlling investor in Letterboxd is considering selling his stake in the app. That's big news. I mean, we don't know who's going to buy it, but it is going to be for sale at some point. And I just wanted to know what you guys thought about that. Because that's huge. The guy has the controlling stake.
I did see this, Matt. You want to
go ahead? I'll chime in on this one.
He's like processing because
I was going to say this is the first time I've heard of that. That's bonkers. I don't know where that will go, what that means for the company. I don't know what the future could hold for Letterboxd. Is this going to be a good thing? Is it going to be a bad thing? I don't know.
Like, is Disney going to buy it?
It concerns me. It concerns me when you look at the news of like buyouts and mergers and everything that has happened. I mean, and when you think about what Letterboxd is, it feels like such an oasis for film lovers, and obviously, so I've been how long have you boys had Letterboxd? I've been on the app since 2017.
Wow. I feel like probably I guess around 2020, maybe a little earlier than that. I'm not even sure at this point, but it's been forever.
I think I've had it since 2020, but I didn't start reviewing movies till like 2022.
Right. So I was on the app for a few years before, so it really boomed around the pandemic, which is pretty obvious. Like I did see this news, Jack, and I was reading a bit about like just Letterboxd's, I guess, financial or usage history, and it boomed around the pandemic. It went from like a couple million users to like 20 something million users to even more today. Like it really has grown and become not just like this little backyard place, if using as a metaphor, but it's become like a real big part of the industry now.
Yeah.
So it does concern me about it getting swallowed up by a larger company that will use it for advertising dollars. Like, I don't want to be going on there and having unskippable ads for like 45 seconds. And now you have to pay just for the no ads. Like, I know they already have different kind of payment tiers and there are ads on there, but it doesn't ever stop you from using the app. Like if you go on YouTube and you have to stop your video because there's an ad, like
Yeah.
I don't want something like that. That I can really see the app taking a downturn. I don't want to be pessimistic. I'm hopeful that's not the case, but we know corporate greed knows no boundaries.
Yeah, I think I'm almost afraid of what media giant is going to get their claws sunk into Letterbox and kind of ruin that, as Josh said, that kind of private feel to it, that oasis, that backyard kind of protection that you have with it. And I could just see Disney jumping in on that, and then yeah, having to pay for a subscription fee for
Ugh,
Letterbox is
come
going to kill
on.
me. That's what I'm afraid of. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're so right. I saw someone say we're gonna get Letterboxd Reels after this because like
no.
YouTube's gonna get it or something. So
That's probably true.
apparently the company has spoken to potential buyers. The only confirmed ones that I could find are CNBC and MS Now. So not huge companies, but that's what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, yeah, and MS Now, which just split off from the Comcast party into Versant.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but either way, it would be swallowed up by larger companies. Imagine if like fucking Paramount buys it.
Oh
like
my
we haven't
God.
heard
I was
enough of
I was
that.
afraid of that. That one, I'm not gonna lie, they're gonna just own the entire world at this point. From
But
a
doesn't it
media
feel,
standpoint.
not that it matters to anybody in the industry or certainly business, but doesn't it feel almost conflict of interest to have like a studio in particular controlling an app where there is criticism and reviews of films, both
Yeah.
theirs and others?
Yeah,
I wonder
definitely.
if other review like companies like Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb would ever consider taking Letterboxd into their, or at least like getting a share in Letterboxd, because
Well,
they got similar things.
it's interesting. I'm pretty sure IMDb actually got bought out a little while ago.
Oh, really? I didn't
of
even know
course.
that. But I agree, Jack, that I think if like IMDb bought that, why not just put that through on the website? Like you'd see like a letterbox score or some kind of
Yeah.
connection to that. I think that would be
Yeah.
really cool
I
if
wouldn't
that is
hate
the case.
that.
No, I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
I would live with it. Maybe it'd be great.
Oh,
Maybe it'd be better,
actually,
honestly.
Yeah. I was gonna say maybe they'll add TV shows. That's what I'm hoping.
they said that 2 years ago that they were adding TV
I know.
shows.
They're
And it
still
never
working on it.
happened.
And
It
they're
never
still cooking.
happened. I don't even think I really want them to. I don't know. I feel like it would muddy the waters.
Could
I
ruin
feel
it
like
at
it'd
this
be a
point.
Yeah,
lot.
maybe oversaturate a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like, how would
True.
you differentiate with all the different seasons? I feel like there should be. I
Fair.
know you have what's it called, Serialized, which is dedicated to TV shows. It's not really a great interface. But something like they should have like if Letterboxd came out with a separate app for TV shows, I would love that. But I don't know
Yeah.
if I would like Letterboxd TV or something. But like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them to incorporate it into the original.
I agree. I think that maybe giving it a separate interface would be even better than just throwing it in there. Because you're right. If I have to see like 1,000 seasons of someone reviewing, I don't know, a sitcom over and over again, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna be like, "Where's the movie?"
Yeah,
reviews?
like they're reviewing season 15 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and it's like,
Imagine
bro,
One
like,
Piece. Imagine
right-
One
Oh
Piece
my
episodes.
God.
Yeah, if it's episode by episode.
Yeah, if
Holy
it's episode
shit.
by episode, that would be insane. That would
I
just be
would-
the entire feed.
I would get another hobby. All right. Well, yeah, that is actually really big news. So be on the lookout, everyone, and we'll keep you updated with that. I'll move on to my laundry list, but it's a shorter one this week. So Jack and I, we were talking actually a bit about this, and it's funny that I'm bringing this to the table because I'm kind of checked out of the franchise, the universe, but it's still news that people will be interested in. Gen V has officially been canceled by Amazon MGM after 2 seasons on Prime Video, with the expectation that the characters' stories from the show will continue in other series set in the Boys universe, but this show itself will not continue. Now, I only watched the first season. Didn't you see the second season, Jag?
I got like 3 episodes in, I gave up.
Okay, so even based on those 3 episodes, do you think it makes sense for them to not continue the show?
Yeah, well, I don't see like any connection to the boys besides like Matt. Did you watch that show or are you?
Nah, see, I was gonna chime in. I am the opposite of both of you, where I'm not even the opposite. I'm the person. I haven't seen anything from the boys, which is
Whoa.
surprising for me. Yeah,
Whoa.
I know, which is huge, as I am a huge superhero person. I haven't checked in yet, and what I'm doing gonna follow it up once it finishes. I'm just gonna go through it all.
Yeah,
And
that's fair.
now, would you guys recommend to someone who hasn't gone in and seen it? Should I start with Gen V or should I go right into the boys?
No, you should go right to the boys.
You got to do the boys first.
Okay.
Gen V season 1 was actually really great, but
That's what I heard.
season 2 just did not hook me, and I couldn't get into it. And there's stuff with like actors in real life dying, and
Chance Perdomo, yeah.
And it's like the characters are all. I don't really connect to the characters the way I do with the boys, so I really don't have any interest in seeing them again. And they might show up in the boys season 5, as we're watching that right now. But I honestly, if I never saw those characters again, I would not care.
And it's I will say season 1 of Gen V was pretty good. You don't really need to watch it though to watch the boys, except for a few references they make here and there.
There's like a
It's
few
not
minor
really...
takes in it. Okay.
There's a end credit scene of season 1 of Gen V, and it's the only thing you need to watch.
Like
Right.
really,
You can just look that up on YouTube.
It's the last 15 seconds of the whole first season, and it's one of the characters from the boys shows up and does something that leads directly to season 4.
Wow.
And that's
Oh,
it.
to season
and
4.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. You don't need to see.
That's the
like,
only
again,
connection.
It's just references to it, but it's nothing that you
Interesting.
have to watch to understand the boys.
Okay. All right.
Which is
so,
a
yeah.
good thing, I think.
I was gonna say
it's...
when it's like Paramount on that you need to see this before you go. Not
Right.
Paramount the company, but
It's Paramount.
Bo's
I
got
know.
Paramount. Bo's got
I got
Paramount on the
my mind. I
brain.
use it as yeah.
Dude had me doing the Fantastic Four meme.
He said what?
Say that.
Say that again.
Say that again. No. I haven't seen anything of the boys. I did see that news though, and I was a little surprised because again, from what both of you said, I've heard that season 1 was pretty interesting, but the fall off did seem to be pretty steep for season 2, as I haven't heard much of anything about it other than it was canceled after it.
I think people share Josh's. They agree with him because like they're falling off of the boys, but they've already dedicated 5 years, so they're like, I'm going to stick with it. But then there's no point in continuing Gen V if not enough people care. I love the boys. I'm loving this new season of the boys, and I know Josh isn't loving it so much, but I don't give a fuck about Gen V. So I feel like a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're fully bought into the season 5 of the boys and not feeling anything towards Gen V, I feel like that's the major consensus.
Exactly,
there is like,
yeah.
And it's funny
it's
too,
not good.
because the boys used to parody how like the MCU is this shared universe, only for them to kind of start doing that themselves.
I know. They're making another prequel series with Soldier Boy.
That leads me into the next news nugget, actually. The Boys prequel series Vault Rising officially is set to release next year. The story follows a twisted murder mystery set in the 1950s, and it will include the origins of Soldier Boy and Stormfront. To me, it sounds interesting. I just don't care about this universe anymore. But like the premise sounds interesting.
As someone who hasn't seen anything of it, that does sound like something that could buy me in a little bit too. Like just a crazy murder mystery in the 1950s. You said it was.
Yeah. For context, Soldier Boy is like this universe's Captain America.
Okay.
So he's like from the 40s and he's frozen, and then he comes out in like present day. So this is his in the 50s, I guess, when he's around. That's kind of awesome. I'm down for. I like Soldier Boy as a character, so I'm down for that.
Except unlike Captain America, he's like super homophobic.
He's
Like,
so racist. He's
so
God.
racist.
So
but that's how Captain America might have
Captain
been.
America, that's how he would have been if it wasn't like rose tinted glasses because it's Marvel. Like,
Yeah.
That's definitely how Captain America would have been.
The only
That's
guy from the 40s who wasn't racist, apparently.
Yeah, that's the historically accurate Captain America is basically what I'm hearing. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean that's the 40s.
Anyway, so that's all I have in the Boys universe. I have 2 more. This next one I think will be particularly interesting for you, Matt.
Okay.
Pedro Pascal, Matthew McConaughey, Austin Butler, and Tang Wei will star in the next film from Park Chan-wook, who was the director of No Other Choice. This will be titled The Brigands of Rattle Creek. It is a Western thriller that follows a sheriff and a doctor who seek revenge against a group of bandits.
All right, we could reserve my seat in a list already. I'm already. That sounds just already having seen No Other Choice and loving it. I'm so ready for that. When is that coming out? Do we know?
Oh,
Is
wait,
it
we don't have it.
not even slated?
This is a
Okay,
first announcement.
just an announcement. Yeah, I was gonna say, haven't heard a word of that. Like nothing spread on the internet that I've seen. That is something I'm interested. Locked in. A list. If you're listening to this, you could set me for that. All right.
Are you a huge Park Chan-wook guy?
I mean, I wouldn't say huge, but I mean, I'm getting into him as a director, I think.
By huge,
Nice.
if you mean, is he a big fan of No Other Choice?
Yeah.
You love that?
Yeah, oh, I did. I thought that was a great movie.
I never saw it. I wish I did.
It's a really good movie. I mean, it's not too late, Jack. It's not
It's
like
too late. There's
It's
nowhere
gone.
to find it.
It's lost
There's
media.
gone.
We'll
I'm
never
pretty sure
see
it's
it
on
again.
Hulu. Actually, I don't know what you mean by it's
Don't
too
I've never
late.
heard of Hulu. I don't know what that
Hulu's
is.
gone. Hulu's been
Probably on
eradicated.
Paramount.
Paramount.
Soon enough.
Yeah, probably.
It's no, I really like Park Chan-wook. He is such an underappreciated filmmaker, especially by the Academy. They never toss him any bones. I thought for sure No Other Choice would have at least gotten a Best International Film nomination. It did not. I've seen Old Boy. That's his most famous film. That is a masterpiece, in my opinion. He also did that show with Robert Downey Jr., The Sympathizer. That was really good.
I've
And
heard that was good.
he's done a bunch of great, like The Handmaiden, Decision to Leave. Like, he has done a lot of great work. And also, I just want to point out, when is the last time we've seen Matthew McConaughey working with a legitimate filmmaker in a big role like this? I mean, he had that stretch in the 2010s where he did True Detective, Dallas Buyers Club, Wolf of Wall Street, Interstellar, and now we see him doing like Lexus commercials and hanging out at Texas Ranger games. Like, I really want to see Matthew McConaughey back on the big screen and not the fucking Lost Bus. Like, this
Apple
seems like a
TV.
big return
Yeah.
for him. That makes me very excited.
Yeah, no, I think this could be something very notable. At the end of the day, with a fire cast, a great storyteller in the director, I think he's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
does sound super interesting.
Yeah. No, so we'll look out for that one at some point when
Definitely
it comes
keeping
out.
an eye on that.
My final news nugget, gentlemen, for this week is pretty related to our joke of this week, Paramount. We promise we'll keep you updated every time. We do it every time on this show, and I have another update. Paramount's takeover of Warner Brothers has officially been approved by the WBD shareholders. They voted to approve of the merger, which clears a major hurdle towards this deal being completed. However, it's not really going to stop it, but it just is interesting to me. The shareholders voted against WBD's CEO, David Zaslav, receiving his massive $550 million compensation package tied to the deal, signaling growing frustration over high executive pay. So they're agreeing for this deal to move forward, but they do not agree for the CEO, David Zaslav, to receive his massive payout from it.
Interesting. I feel like
I don't know what to make of it, but I wanted to bring it up because it feels like a quirky development in this whole saga.
Yeah. I don't know if are they just pissed off at him? Like,
What?
they just don't want him
This
to get his
guy?
bread? Yeah, but they're willing to push the deal forward, but fuck his money.
And it's interesting because, like, we'll get our money, but fuck your
Yeah,
money,
one
dude.
guy.
Like,
Yeah.
and
damn.
it's, David Zaslav truly has been kind of pushing Warner Brothers over the last several years towards this, the brink of the edge of the cliff here where, it's selling. Because if you look at their financial history, especially over the last, 5 years. Hell, look at the last year, right? And we talked about this a bit, Jack. They had, I think it was like 7 consecutive box office hits. I think it was even maybe 9 consecutive box office hits, including Sinners, including One Battle After Another, which also dominated the award circuit all season. This is a film studio that had no reason to sell itself to another company. None. Financially whatsoever. It's to put more money in Zaslav's own pockets, and shareholders see that. So they are which is odd because they say, well, you're right, we can get a massive payout if we sell to Paramount, but we also know that you pushed us here So we don't want you to benefit because this was like a snakish thing for you to do.
So fuck that guy.
Yeah,
So fuck
it's
you.
just a
hilarious.
middle finger to his bread.
I kind
Honestly,
of
Anyway.
love that. I kind of
I like that. Good job, shareholders. Like that's what I want to.
They did
If you're
something right.
listening and you're a shareholder of
Yeah.
Warner Brothers Discovery, good job.
We
except-
approve of you for this
Maybe you
one
sh-
instance.
Yeah.
One instance. Everything else you've done, you suck.
Yeah,
It's
redeem
not a
themselves.
done deal. There's still, regulatory issues, but this is a massive hurdle for it to cross. So
Damn. Well, that's terrible that they crossed that hurdle. I'm hoping this deal still gets shut down. The optimist in me, truthfully, wants it to, believes it still can. The realist in me is saying shit.
Yeah, shit.
not as long as Trump and Daddy Ellison are buddies.
Got their hands holding, skipping together. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult.
Skipping my loo.
Yeah.
That's the end of my news nuggets. So if we didn't cover yours, Matt, and you wanted to throw it out there real quick, be our guest.
Feel like mine is gonna tie in. It was about Michael being the biggest opening, but I feel like we're gonna talk about that anyway.
We are going to talk
So,
about that in a second.
I figured that was the only thing that I really saw that was notable. But you know what? I do have another one. What was the sheep herder movie we were just talking about, Josh?
the sheep herders.
Is it literally called The Sheep Herders?
What?
Or is it
Jack,
like
have you heard of this?
I know the movie with Hugh Jackman that's coming
Yes,
out.
the movie
It's-
with Hugh
wait,
Jackman.
Sheep
it's-
Detectives.
sheep
Yes,
detectives?
the Sheep Detective. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait, yeah, is it Sheep Herders? My news for the day that Josh shared with me earlier this morning, maybe this afternoon, is that it debuted at a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Are you fucking kidding
Yeah,
me?
apparently it's like gas. Like,
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear it.
Whoa.
What
And
are
I
your-
didn't even
what are your
know about
expectations
this.
with that?
I didn't even know about this movie until you told me the other day about it, Matt.
Yeah, we
And,
saw the poster, Jack, as we're walking in. I think we were going to, which movie were we seeing? Was it Mother Mary?
I think it was Michael, actually. I think
Was
it
it
was when we
Michael?
went to go see Michael.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So we
I don't
were-
know, either way, but
Either way, we're walking in and we see this poster, and Josh is like, "What the hell is that?" And I was like, "Oh, you haven't heard?" I'm like, I tell him I'm so excited for this movie. I'm like, I think it actually could be really good, and I'm curious, Jack. What do you think? What are your expectations for this movie?
Mine were low. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I saw. I mean, I've been seeing that. I'm surprised Josh hasn't seen it because that trailer was in front of every movie I've been seeing for the last 2 months.
I don't watch trailers
usually miss the
anymore.
trailers.
We come in right when it's time to
Oh,
start
really?
the movie.
Oh,
I
wow.
haven't sat and watched trailers in a theater in a while.
Yeah. So that was always showing, and I was like, okay, Hugh Jackman, cool. And then I think like Bryan Cranston is in it, and then the rest of the cast is like really great. And I was like, why the fuck are they doing this? I was like, this looks so dumb.
Yeah. Well,
But for
yeah, money.
for kids, if it's like aimed towards kids, then I think it's fine. But I wasn't interested in it. But a 92%, that's
Yeah.
actually
That's,
fuck it. I'm seeing this movie, dude.
yeah, that's how I know it's putting it on the radar now.
We
even
got
more
A-list.
so.
That's what it's for. To
Exactly.
go explore.
To go see the sheep movie.
Hugh Jackman and his sheep.
Yeah, Hugh
I'm
Jackman
down.
and corralling his sheep into a murder mystery.
Yeah,
I am
it's-
so
it's-
interested by it.
It gives me like Animal Farm vibes.
Yeah,
And I know
and
there's
it's
like an
strange they're
Animal Farm
making.
movie. Yeah, I know, but that looks like garbage. Like,
Seth Rogen.
yeah, I'm sorry. And Andy
Seth Rogen
Serkis.
does no ball, but
Yeah,
but
Andy Serkis.
I don't know. That's my news of the day is that it debuted really well. I'm excited to see what audiences think once it drops. I don't even know when it's dropping. I'm assuming really soon.
It's in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, so I'm on the lookout for that, and I hope I put that onto both of your radars too. You know,
It could
I
be
think
fun.
hopefully
You
Hugh
did.
Jackman hopefully cooks here. I love that guy. I can
Cook
see
some
him
sheep.
carrying it. He cook not the sheep.
Chefing
No.
them up.
Then that would not be a kid's
Lamb
movie.
chop, baby.
Yeah, lamb chop it up.
No, well, it wasn't on my radar, but now it is, and I don't. It's like, what do we have to lose, right? A couple hours, maybe. You know,
Yeah,
what else do you have
exactly.
to lose?
We've
Yeah.
seen worse. We've seen worse.
Oh, we've seen worse.
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
shooting
The
party.
shooting party.
Oh my God, Matt! If you ever watch that movie, you're gonna like pour acid into your eyes.
No,
dude.
it's that
Like,
bad.
Don't watch
Oh,
that
oh,
movie.
no.
Just
Okay,
don't even
all right,
consider
never,
it.
Just never even considering it.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I feel like that's
Fucking
got to be an Oscar
sucks.
punishment or something. And God forbid I get that.
Oh, that
Um,
will. Oh, that's. Why did you put that idea in my head?
I'm gonna give it
All
to
right,
you.
I'm keeping that one in the back burner. All right, well, beat me.
Maybe you have to
first,
watch
all
it
right?
again, John.
You gotta beat me for, bro.
That's true.
I actually would commit war crimes if I had to watch that movie a second time. Matt, I'm waiting for you to watch Melania, man.
I don't want to.
That was your punishment.
I know, and I'm
Wait-
disappointed.
I'm waiting for you to watch Melania.
Brandon said he's gonna do it with me, and the poor soul, I don't know why, but you know what? I'm glad that
Because
maybe they
he's
can
going to be
moderate.
fried out of his mind. He's not
Yeah,
going to realize
that's
what he's
true.
watching.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's not even gonna be present.
All right. Well, why don't we be present for these box office numbers, gentlemen? We have
True.
some Bubba box office numbers to go over for the weekend of April 24th through the 26th. And as Matt alluded to before, there will be some discussion around these as well. But why don't we start in fifth place in its fourth weekend of release with $2.6 million more domestically is the A24 film The Drama, still maintaining a top 5 spot a month after its release. So it has been it was a great movie and it's got great success.
Yeah.
In fourth place in its second weekend of release with $5.6 million more in its pocket is Lee Cronin's The Mummy. So Lee Cronin, despite the big release this weekend, able to maintain a top 5 spot with some of his counter entertainment. In third place in its sixth weekend of release with over $13 million more is Project Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Project
Crazy.
Hail Mary has now
What a
passed
throne.
over $600 million worldwide. It is currently sitting at $613.4 million worldwide. It got an IMAX re-release already. It probably will be due for another one in the next couple months. This is one of the big success stories of the whole year already.
Absolutely.
It'll be in that top 5 for a while.
Yeah.
It might be. I mean,
It'll be
truly,
gripping onto that fifth spot a few weeks from now. I guarantee it.
I don't think until, like, based on next month's releases, like Devil Wears Prada 2 will get in there. That'll knock like Lee Cronin's movie out, things like that. It might not get knocked out until Mandalorian and Grogu comes out at the end of May.
That'd be impressive and a testament to how good a movie it is.
That would be over 2 months in the top 5.
Yeah,
That's wild.
That's insane, and it deserves
So-
it.
It absolutely deserves it. Real ball knower of a movie right there.
yeah.
Like incredible stuff. It deserves a 2-month run, honestly.
Beautiful, beautiful film. In second place in its fourth weekend of release with $21.2 million more, unsurprising to everyone, is the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So it does lose the top spot, still holding on strong to number 2. And we are on Billy Watch. It is at $831.4 million. It is
My
losing steam.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, the first one made over $1 billion.
It was 1.3.
$1.3 billion.
Yeah.
This one, I'm not sure it'll get there anymore.
I kind of hope it does because I like this movie. I know you weren't the biggest fan. But I like a good $1 billion movie. You know, it's kind of sick to get that.
I'm forgetting. Do we have one yet this year?
I don't think we have one yet.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I
could
really
be
thought
wrong,
this
too.
would be the first.
Yeah, I'm
but,
actually shocked it's not even at $1 billion yet.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. It takes me back a little bit. That was a movie that brought a lot of people into the theaters, and honestly, I think the next movie we talk about might be the first $1 billion of the year. I think I'm
Wow.
going to say that. I'll make that bold claim.
You know what we need to do at the beginning of, I guess, like 2027 is place bets on the first $1 billion movie.
That's
And
a,
like
that's a
Okay,
good
Billy-
idea.
I like that. But
Billy
it has
contest.
To, it has to be
Billy,
and
the
I
Billy
think this,
bonus. The Billy
Billy
bonus,
bonus,
all right?
yeah.
Oh, I like that. Like we
The
have
Billy
like
bet.
you get like a prize.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get
there's
like
gotta be something like
Oh.
that.
Well, and also I think it goes without saying, it can't be a movie that came out in late December or like the year before and hits $1 billion in 26 or 27. It has to be a movie that came out that year.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Because
that
like
makes sense.
Zootopia 2 hit $1 billion, I think, in January. But
Yeah, that does not count.
that
No,
doesn't
yeah.
came out last year.
That's
so.
a cheap shot, you know.
Yeah. All right. So Super Mario, I was so sure this was going to, and it is losing steam. It had a 41.9% drop from last weekend to this past weekend. I'm not going to go through every single percent because I'd have to leave my page here, but it's dropping. I mean, it's maintaining a spot. It might like crawl across the finish line. It
That's what I
might
think.
get there with
I
a
was gonna say
crawl.
that it might be like one of those zombies at the end of the round that are crawling towards the end, like that are losing steam, from
Yeah.
Black Ops Zombies.
You
I
keep
think
it
that's
alive so
you're
you can
keeping
get
it alive
your
so you
wonder
keep another
weapons and
round
stuff.
going.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
You're reloading your weapons.
Yeah.
You're trying to stay alive.
you're
You're
trying to find the
regrouping.
mystery box, so you just keep it
Exactly.
alive before the next round
Exactly.
starts.
That's
It's
Mario.
kind of if Mario is gonna make it to 1 billion, it's gonna make it at that speed. I think it's not that a 41.9% drop is crazy.
There's
huge.
just not a ton of competition in that audience
True.
bracket until Mandalorian and Grogu. That doesn't come out till May 22nd.
Yeah,
So
there's time.
It has time. May is not as packed as April necessarily in the middle.
True.
So, and in first place, as Matt alluded to, with $97 million domestically in its opening weekend, is the big blockbuster Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic. And let's break down these numbers for a second here, because this was, I think, even bigger than predictions were anticipating for this film. And it comes in the face of low critic scores too. This film obviously has great audience scores. It is, a massive success. So 97 million domestically, and worldwide opening weekend, it's made $217.4 million. In
That's
one weekend,
crazy.
it hasn't even opened in every market yet around the world. It hasn't opened in Japan yet. It hasn't opened in a few others. It earned $39.5 million domestically on its opening day alone. And this is the biggest opening weekend for a biopic ever of all time. It blows Oppenheimer out of the water. Oppenheimer opened with $174.2 million worldwide. This is at $217.4 million worldwide.
That's
Fucking
insane.
Michael Jackson, man.
Yeah, a true testament to who he was.
It's the name.
Honestly, it's the power
I
of the name.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't even think it's so much the movie. I think there's a lot of varying opinions that we'll get into. I think it's more of a just testament to the man, Michael Jackson, and his star power.
Yeah.
Even 17 years after he passed away, still draws some of the biggest audiences anyone could possibly draw. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody made $141 million in its opening weekend. Like, it's just not even close.
It's not even he hit a home run so far with it like that it's insane. It's not even in the same ballpark.
And this comes with the consideration that this film had a bloated budget. It was $200 million to make. It had $50 million worth of reshoots for the third act, which we actually talked about a little bit when they had to redo the ending. So with all that in mind, it's still well on its way to not just being profitable for Lionsgate, but being a massive success.
Oh, absolutely. Amongst even the discourse of people liking it or not, it's the one thing you can't deny is it's a massive success.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is definitely going to be one of the biggest films of the year, financially speaking. It might not be, I know, Jack, we talked about like top 5. I don't necessarily mean that, but just in terms of what it is and how much it's going to make, this will be one of the biggest films of the year.
It's going to be huge. It's already huge.
I
It
think
already
honestly, I think it
Yeah.
is going to be the first one to cross 1 billion. That's my Billy
That is
bonus
such
right
a
there.
bold take. I just got to say.
It is. I think it's going to be it's a hot take, steaming hot right off the stove.
I think if the reviews that, even before the movie came out, everyone was like, it debuted with a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think if we didn't have that, it would easily cross 1 billion. But I don't know. I think word of mouth is going to make it stick behind.
I agree, but I think it's almost the opposite effect. I think that the discourse around it, people are going to be like, I want to know if it's bad or not. I want to go see it. I think it's going to drive people to the theaters because they're going to want to see, is this bad? What's going on? Maybe I could be wrong.
It's not like the word of mouth is necessarily. I mean, it's a very.
It's also
this
not
is a
great.
very weird film to just like, and we're going to get into it in a second, obviously, but this is just a very weird film in that sense because in some places that you look at ratings, it's lower. In some, it's higher. The Metacritic scores, it's split at Rotten Tomatoes, but it got an A- cinema score, which means audience members are leaving the theaters pretty satisfied, is what that means. So I do think that, critics don't love it. There is people who don't love it, but there is also strong word of mouth. So it's kind of like a unique case here in terms of a box office. It really is. Like, how far can a biopic go with such a divisive discourse around it? It's already a massive success, so how far can it go? That'll be really interesting for us to track in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think we should get into talking about this movie.
All right,
Yeah.
so we are going to rate and review the new Michael Jackson biopic, Michael. And this is a spoiler review, so spoilers ahead for Michael. We'll go around the horn and give our ratings. Matt, you are our guest, so why don't you give your rating first?
Okay, I'm gonna give 6 white gloves out of 10. That's where I'm gonna land it at. That's my rating of the Michael movie. Do you
I
want me to go
give
into my review? Or no, we're doing
No, we'll
we
get
ratings
to
first?
that.
all
Okay,
three.
okay,
So
okay.
I give Michael 8 he's out of 10.
You took mine. I wanted to
I-
go first
I
because I,
was
knew you were
gonna do it
fucking
too.
Fuck.
I was this close to saying the he one, but I was like, nah. I was
Hey,
like,
well,
I'll
I
do
didn't
it.
do
All
the
right.
voice, Josh. If you want to do the voice.
I'll do the voice. I give it 6 hee-hees out of 10.
Everyone's
will.
taking their headphones off now.
Everyone's like, oh,
Oh, dude,
oh,
whoa,
that's
whoa.
worse than the
Wow.
shooting party. Oh,
Wait, did you guys both say 6?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow, I gave it 8. I can't believe
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
This'll be-
understand an 8, but I think that this will be a good conversation topic, honestly.
I brought Matt as my backup. He's my
Yeah.
muscle.
I
That's
think-
why he's
alright.
here.
Let me start with what I like about this because I feel like you guys are going to be on the same page as each other. So I'm just going to say what I think first.
Go for
Sure
it.
thing.
I just want to say, honestly, I have some complaints. The pacing is off. There's a lot of, it doesn't cover things that maybe it should cover, but that if we get the sequel, then that will probably, hopefully. But the fucking vibes were immaculate in this movie, man. I mean, the outfits, the music, the set production, the everything to me, that honestly, this could have been the worst fucking movie in the world. If you have that, I'm sold. I'm in. And that's really all it is to me. I like, for some reason, for this movie, the movie critic in me was like, don't care about any of that. It looks awesome. It sounds awesome. I'm having a good time watching it, and that's all you need.
That's valid too. Like that is like it was the one thing I can't take away, and what I wrote in my review of it is that it was fun. It was such a fun, like you're engaged the entire time. It's not boring by the slightest. Like you are into that movie, and like especially Jafar Jackson did an incredible job.
He was
Yeah.
incredible.
Nepotism be damned. Jafar Jackson.
Yeah,
He was
nepotism.
I
great.
mean, he truly does transform into MJ there,
Yeah.
and just is the powerhouse that drives the film forward, and especially in all the like concert scenes, the performance scenes, you almost kind of forget that it's not Michael Jackson that you're watching.
It was
Yeah.
it was so like literally I had to remind myself. I was like, this is just that guy's fucking dead. This is not him.
Yeah, literally. That's how impressive it was.
It
Like
was so
no matter
impressive.
what, incredible job by him. He was the star of the show by a landslide.
He was great. And then I thought young Michael, I don't know the actor's name. He was fantastic right in the beginning when you get to his origins.
His name is
And then-
Giuliano Cruvaldi.
Giuliano Cruvaldi, and then Coleman Domingo. Again, fantastic. I didn't even know it was him until I heard his voice, and I was like, okay, there you go. He was he was in that role.
I do think that Coleman Domingo is really great in this film. I mean, he completely is unrecognizable. I don't think, and this is, I mean, we'll get into all of it. I don't think he has the best material to work with. I do think with what he's given, he does a great job. I mean, he is an incredible actor. And I made a bold prediction, maybe bold prediction to Matt about this. I think it goes without saying that Jafar Jackson is the best performance in this movie, and it's not particularly close.
Yep.
However, I don't think he will be nominated for an Oscar for that role.
I don't think
And-
so either.
I think if anyone in this movie is going to, because he's the vet, because he's been nominated, it will be Coleman Domingo. I don't know that he will be. I know it's obviously very early, but just if we're going to kind of predict along the way, we're getting into the next Oscar season already, boys. I mean, the Cannes Film Festival is premiering next month. That's where it starts. I think if anyone's going to get any kind of nominations this year, it'll be Coleman Domingo, even though Jafar Jackson is probably the one who deserves it the most.
I
can
totally
see
agree.
that. Yeah, I definitely agree. Even though I agree with you too that he wasn't given the strongest material. One of my biggest gripes with the movie is I feel like they gave us a Spark Notes version of the dad to Michael relationship. kind of thing. I wish they dove deeper into the horrors that he did, even though he was pretty terrible throughout the movie. That's without denial. I think there's a lot more that goes into that relationship that we didn't see from either side, and I'm hoping we do get more in the second one a bit, like more of a deep dive into it. But I think overall, yeah, he's going to be the one that gets nominated, if anybody gets nominated for
You know what's
something from this.
interesting about that is I do think I'm almost maybe a little different of my approach to how I feel about it. I do think we get plenty of that relationship. I think the problem is that's really some of the only conflict we get in the film. It starts to feel a bit repetitive after a while. It's, music performance, conflict with
Dad
father,
gets mad.
music performance, music performance, conflict with father. And it just didn't, it never had this, like cathartic moment. It never really had this, big change in any way. It felt like, I mean, you're right to say that this is a very sanded down version of Michael Jackson's story.
Yeah.
It's a very glossy version. It's a real Disney-fied take on it. It's really giving you as little of that struggle that you can get. So we do, I think, get a lot between him and his dad. It's just repetitive after a while.
Yeah, and maybe
yeah.
that's it too.
I agree. I think, I mean, I put 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect movie. It's not
Yeah.
anything like that by any means. It was time skip, concert, time skip, concert, time
Oh
skip.
my God,
Miles
yeah.
Teller in a terrible
Constantly.
wig, concert. Like it was,
And a botched, like, prosthetic nose.
yeah, it was
I don't know
all
what that was about.
and
Shrek.
yeah,
Mike
That was
Myers
funny.
sitting in the chair. That was
yeah,
hysterical.
Shrek shows up, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really how I felt. Like the pacing was just so off in this, and they were trying to do so much and ended up doing pretty little. But
Yeah.
still had a good time watching it.
Hold on, guys. My TV's making fucking noise. It's like
Okay, you
playing
got it.
music because I
Yeah,
left
I
it
hear it.
on.
I
Maybe you
was
hear
like-
it?
Maybe
It's
just
playing
turn
like
your TV off.
I was playing. I
I'm
hear
gonna
like a
go turn it
serene-
off. It's a smart TV and it has like I was on the smart homepage.
It has like that
And-
background
And
music
after
kind
a
of thing.
while, of it idling, and I forgot to turn it off. After a while of it idling, it just fucking starts playing random like peaceful music. Like I've fallen asleep to it.
It's pretty serene, honestly.
That's pretty nice.
I know.
Some
Isn't
background
it nice?
music
It's
for the
like background
podcast.
music for the podcast. I'll be
I
right
was gonna
back.
say.
Hope it's not
Yeah.
copyrighted.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, hope cross our fingers.
We're gonna get
We're not
sued
getting
for
canceled
this.
for this. Yeah, the smart TV owners are gonna be like, wait a minute,
What
that's
the
my
fuck,
damn song.
dude? The one guy watching it.
Yeah, the
Holy
guy just
shit.
relaxing is just driving his car. He's gonna be like, what the fuck?
I
That's
know
my
that song.
Hold on a minute, I wrote that. We were saying you guys are gonna. It's not gonna be copyright free, so
Yeah, we're gonna
they're gonna
strike.
come for you. You're gonna get a strike.
You're paying
All
that
right,
fee.
we'll just pass the bill over to W Energy.
That's true.
That's
Hey,
right.
shout out.
That's
Use code box office at checkout.
right. Nice transition there. I love it.
Back to Michael though.
I think
So-
I agree. The pacing. I think I said this to Josh when we were leaving the movie. I think that it was paced well for a movie, but for the actual story, it wasn't. It cut out. So
That's
much.
a great way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree because I didn't find an issue with the movie like experience, but I was just thinking, I was like, there's so much we should have gotten. It was
Yeah.
like it was just a lack of stuff. So it wasn't what they showed wasn't terrible, but the lack of stuff was what was missing.
Exactly.
It made the film feel so formulaic and surface level. And like that's the thing. The things that we like on the surface, it's a good movie, right? People are happy, they're having a good time, they're leaving it satisfied. And power to them. But if you really are looking for like this did not have a vision behind the camera from the director. Like it was very much the Jackson estate putting out this, like I said, sanded down, whitewashed story of Michael Jackson's legacy. And that's that. And he was a perfect person and he was a saint and he wanted to help animals and he visited sick kids in the hospital and he wanted to be a big success. And that's it. And it doesn't really care to dive too deep into the creative process. We get a little bit of it. It's not even completely accurate. So it doesn't really do that. It doesn't really peel back the layers of him into his psyche, into these, deeper rooted issues that, even, and we could sit here all day and talk about the allegations and how that is without a doubt a big part, a massive part of his legacy. And I just want to say,
Yeah.
how on earth they're
Yeah,
going to
for
do a
sure.
sequel without addressing that because they had to reshoot the third act to not include it it doesn't make any sense to me how they are going to do a sequel.
If they don't address any allegation, they're gonna get flamed.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
there's no
absolutely.
way. Yeah.
They're gonna
It's
get
ju-
destroyed.
the second half of Michael Jackson's story from where we leave off at 88, it's his lesser known albums. They're not nearly as popular. And it's the allegations. That's the second half of the story. That's
Yeah.
the Michael Jackson
Yeah.
story. You can't look past it. You can't ignore it. That is the Michael Jackson story. So if you're going to do a biopic, my take is that if you're going to do something like the Springsteen movie where you focus in on a very particular time period to kind of capture something about the person, fine. But if you're going to do what they're doing here and try to tell and brand it and market it as the story, the whole story of Michael Jackson, you got to tell the whole story.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and they started setting it up in the first one with Neverland. Like you could see the obsession with Neverland in Michael, but I don't know. I mean, that's the elephant in the room, right? Are they
Also,
gonna? What are they gonna
the
do?
obsession with Disney too. I never knew he had such a big like. I never knew like the Mickey Mouse everywhere. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, I had no idea. But I mean, they were setting that up, and yeah, if they don't hit it, what's the point?
I wonder if they're gonna do. I heard like a while ago. I guess it was like in 2000 or something. When Mike, it's just such a small detail, but I think it's so funny. Michael Jackson tried buying like the rights to Spider-Man because he wanted to play Spider-Man in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movie.
Wait, that's
And
crazy. I
yeah,
didn't even know
he
that.
wanted to literally like buy the rights to Spider-Man just to play Spider-Man. And I just think that'd be such a funny little thing to throw in the sequel because it's so
Imagine
stupid.
the sequel is just Michael Jackson as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's just him,
Just playing the Green
they're
Goblin.
What about him in
changing
Men in
the
Black?
story. Yeah, the
Men in Black.
He was in one of the Men in Black movies. He
He
did like
was?
a
I
didn't know that.
cameo. Yeah,
Wait,
yeah, yeah.
I had
And
no
I was
idea.
just watching an interview about it this morning too with the
I
director.
did
That's
not know
crazy.
that.
Wait, yeah, I
Yeah.
also had no idea. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
man.
All right, so it'll
Um,
be the Men in Black cameo and him. if he
And
had
that's
bought
it. Nothing else.
Spider-Man.
He didn't do anything
Yeah,
wrong. He didn't do
nothing else,
anything
nothing
wrong.
else. The director's just gonna be like, "That's it."
I wrote down so many of the things that they excluded from this film, and again, some of it was out of their control. I get
Okay.
that.
Before you get into this, I just want to say one thing because it has to do with that. I never found that there was an unnecessary thing in this movie, but I think you're right that there wasn't enough. Everything in
Yeah.
this movie I felt needed to be there, but I just needed more. And you're gonna explain exactly
gonna
why we
start
needed
with-
more.
I'm gonna. All right. I'm gonna
He's
go
like
through it again. Some of it was out of their control, but I'll say this much: at a certain point, if so much can't be included into the film, you have to ask yourself: are we doing this story and Michael Jackson justice? Like, is this worth it, or are you just trying to resurrect Michael Jackson's brand? Like it's a zombie from the frickin' Thriller music video in an effort to milk a new generation's cash because he's so popular. Like you have to ask that question. What is the point of this movie?
It's like the dad doing the victory tour. Like, you know what I mean? Like it is literally him just trying to revitalize the brand for everybody else.
Yeah,
Like, you
using
know-
Michael's name to make money.
Yeah, that's that.
Here-
I really think ultimately
Yeah.
that's the point.
So here are the things that I noticed that were not in the film that I thought were big enough parts of his story, even if we're going to say it goes to 1988 and that's it, right?
Yeah.
This is the stuff that they just don't talk about or mention or anything that blows my mind because it's such a big part of his story. And I get you can only do so much in one, but I think you could easily just make. First of all, this movie's over 2 hours. If it was just 3 hours, I don't think people would even complain. Like people are already willing to sit for over 2 hours. If you just make it 3 hours to fit way more in to make it work, pace it properly, I don't think anyone would really mind. Right?
No,
People
I
go
agree.
to 3 hour movies, especially if it's an easy film to digest like this. So 3 of the Jackson siblings are just erased in general. Rebby, Randy, and Janet Jackson. Of course, we know Janet didn't want to be in the film, but she's still the most popular Jackson figure out of the family after Michael Jackson of all of them. It's weird to have her excluded. It's even weirder, I guess, if you're going to say, well, it's not her story, it's Michael's story. Where's Randy? He's a big part of the Jackson 5 later on down the road after Jermaine left the group. They completely pretend that he just doesn't exist. I don't
Doesn't
understand it.
he replaces Jermaine, I think. I was
He
reading up on it.
replaces Jermaine in the
Yeah.
group. That the movie paints the picture that it was just the 4 brothers and then Michael leaves and it's just the 3, and it's not. Randy was there. He's a producer on the film, so he clearly was okay with being involved, and they just don't put his character into the movie.
Wait, I would be pissed if I was him.
Yeah, me
I don't
too.
understand
put me
I
in
would
the
be like,
movie, bro.
what the hell? Unless
know.
maybe he also didn't want to be in the movie.
Yeah,
Like, is that
maybe.
something
I mean,
that
I
could
feel
be
like you.
considered?
And again, we know that this film
Especially if he's
had,
producing it.
but like at least Janet Jackson had nothing to do with it. She had no interest in being a part of it.
Yeah,
This
right,
actually
right.
caused tensions in their family between her and Jermaine. Like there was problems there, and might still be. She didn't go to the premiere. She had nothing to do with this. So I get it. Again, some things are out of your control, but it's still weird to just exclude members of the family for no reason.
Yeah, that was strange.
Diana Ross, not in the movie at all. Another situation of someone who didn't want to be in the film. In fact, they had an actress that they hired to play her. She was going to be in the movie, and then she decided she didn't want to be in the movie. Diana Ross was a close friend of Michael Jackson's for a long time. They were creative collaborators. She was a big part of that, of the 70s and especially the 80s. To not have her in the story at all feels very weird to me. Nothing about The Wiz. I don't know if you guys know that, but he did a film, The Wiz, in the early 80s. They kind of reference his interest in being an actor, and then they don't show that part of his career ever.
Yeah, that was during the MTV, right? Like when that was kind of like during that whole MTV scene pre-up to it or right before it. They were talking about him like wanting to be on TV, make these music videos and get to that. And I thought they were going to touch on it at all, but yeah, they didn't do anything with
And
that.
I'm glad you bring up MTV, Matt,
Yeah.
because that was inaccurate too. And it was a fun
Oh.
scene, the one with Mike Myers, but
Yeah.
that's a story that I don't remember the guy's name, Peter something, the CBS president, that was like a story he did tell, but MTV did air Michael Jackson's music videos before Thriller. They never were threatened to have the whole CBS label taken off their air if it didn't play. In fact, Billie Jean and Beat It had already played, and MTV was eagerly awaiting to play Thriller on their network. I have no idea why they painted a different picture in the film, that they threatened to remove the whole CBS label if they didn't play it. It's just not true.
It was
we
a
think-
5-minute scene too, so it's not like it added that much where you needed to have that scene for the
Yeah.
for the plot.
I was sitting
honestly-
there, I was like, why? That's not
Mike
what
Myers
happened.
might have just improv that at this point. I'm willing to take a bet that Mike Myers was just up there and was like, "Oh yeah, let's do it."
Dude, that's so funny. He was in Bohemian Rhapsody too. Like, he's just in these fucking.
Why is
music
he the
biopics
biopic
for some
guy?
reason. He's
What?
just the bio. It's just Shrek and biopics.
Oh
Like,
my
that's
God.
it.
There's some kind of connection there that will be studied generations from now. That Shrek being in biopics, we'll never understand it, but he's just the king of it somehow.
Maybe they all take place in the same universe, and he's the connecting.
He's
the
the-
connects them.
Cinematic universe.
Yeah.
The Shrek biopic cinematic universe. SBCU.
SPCU. I love it.
This one really bothered me. I said this to Matt. I said this to you after the movie was over.
Uh-huh.
They don't mention his first 4 solo albums. They tell you Off the Wall is his first solo album. That's not true. It was his 5th solo album. It came out in 1978. He had 4 solo albums before that. I had no idea why the film was saying that was the first.
Were they successful?
They weren't as well known, but yeah, Ben is a massively successful record. For example, if you're not going to include all of them, how are you going to not talk? They even play the song Ben from
was
the
gonna say.
album Ben in the movie, but then they never mention that was an album. They just say Off the Wall is his first album. I was so confused. I
That's
was
just strange. That's
that
weird.
does-
It's just weird.
like,
This
and
day was just like, nah.
if you notice, we talk about pacing. The films goes from 1971 to 1978. It just completely skimps over most of the 70s.
You'd think like Jafar
Yeah.
Jackson, when he's reading the script, would be like, "Hey, that's wrong," and then maybe they told him to fuck off, but like, I
yeah,
don't
maybe.
know. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
how much power do we really think he even had?
or he's like,
over
"I don't give a
this
fuck if
process?
this is wrong or not. I want to be in the movie."
So I thought that
He was like, I'm just doing it.
I thought that was weird. I also thought, and this really ties into what you were saying, Jack, about like them skipping through things. They they only mentioned that the Jackson 5 left Motown for Epic Records. They never explore the whole situation that went down between the dad and that original producer, the jealousy, and why they leave Motown. They just
they
say,
had
yeah,
beef.
all they say is, yeah, we're not at Motown anymore. They make a whole There's like 30 minutes in the movie, about 30 minutes in the movie about them joining Motown, and then it skips ahead and they're like, we're no longer with Motown. And they don't even talk about it. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
they really didn't dive into
And you
that.
could see the tension between the dad and the producer too. Like they were
But
setting something up, and then nothing
Yeah.
happened.
And then it never
It
happens.
just kind of fell
There's-
apart.
It's just one line that I noticed. They're like, yeah, we're not with Motown anymore. Now we're Epic Records. Why? There's a whole story there. And it is part of Michael's story. It's why he also joined Epic Records. Like, he's
The
just with
producer
Epic
was like,
Records now.
Michael, you can tell me anything, and then never told him why he left in the movie.
Didn't tell him a
That's
single
it.
thing.
He didn't tell him a single thing after that.
Baffling to me. Baffling.
Yeah.
Nothing with We Are the World. You guys know We Are the World, right? The
Yeah,
big
of course.
collective song. I was very
I
shocked.
was expecting it.
I was
like,
too.
they're talking about peace and everything. I'm like, okay, we're gonna see.
I was like,
some
we're
kind
going
of
into
thing.
We Are the World, and then
Yeah.
they just don't do it. They just
Yeah.
don't do it.
I was a little upset by that.
For that matter, we barely see Quincy Jones. He's in like what, 3 scenes maybe in the movie. Quincy Jones is one of the most popular producers of all time, and he was one of the biggest collaborators with Michael Jackson, and many of the artistic ideas in the film that they painted as MJ's ideas were actually Quincy Jones's ideas. And he's barely in the movie.
That's so
See,
wild.
Yeah, that's insane. And he's in the movie to the point where they could have just had him come up with ideas and be the actual character. So these are all just weird things to leave out and change. They have nothing to do with
Right.
anything.
And the
Yeah.
last one I had, Matt, you mentioned, was we don't really see the true extent of Joe Jackson's abusive nature. I mean, we see him whip Michael, but he used to, like, if you watch interviews, he used to beat the kids severely with all kinds of objects. And I feel like, yes, Joe Jackson was painted as evil in the movie, but if you're going to really focus on that conflict, I mean, they could have done a lot more than him just saying, like, sitting around smoking cigars half the time with Don King. Like
He
it.
was at his desk
it
for
just-
90% of his
Yeah,
shots.
really.
And then, of course, and I wrote here, and of course, the allegations, it stops at 88, but the allegations as well are a big part. So, I mean, as you can see, there's just a lot of stuff changed, removed, things like that, and it's glossed over, and it just is like, I get it. On one hand, you can only do so much, but you're not doing the true story. You are telling a very, very, very simplified version of it. And it just feels like some of these are too important. Like maybe The Wiz, you can argue, maybe that's not included. Diana Ross should be in this movie. Quincy Jones should be in this movie. Why They Leave Motown should be in this movie.
Right.
It's because he hugged that producer and he got uncomfortable. Like, one hug, and he was like, "Oh, get this fucking kid off me."
Yeah, he said, "No, I'm done." He said,
No, you're
"We're
fired.
all contract terminated."
That's an appropriate workplace behavior.
He
You're
said,
fired.
"No, too close, too close." He said, "I have my boundary."
I didn't know about that Joe Jackson. Like, I mean, I knew he like beat the fuck out of Michael, but I don't know any of the details that he did beyond this movie. This is all I know.
My
So-
coworker recommended on Tubi actually a movie because we found it was on Tubi, like a more in-depth documentary kind of movie of Michael that came out in
Oh.
1992. That apparently goes into it a little more. Because like you, I also don't know all the intricacies of it.
But you would think so if we get a sequel. He made a documentary in 1992. You're saying, like, you would think that would be part of the sequel, right? Like him
I don't
making a
know if he
documentary
made
about
it. I don't know if
Oh.
I know somebody made it. I don't know if it was directly by him, but I know it gives a better insight into how brutal the dad was. My coworker was saying like it's crazy some of the stuff that goes on in that.
And we see too, like Michael was obviously like had stunted development. He
Mhm.
was like a child at heart. He never really grew in that sense. And that's largely part of, actually, very largely part because of the treatment, the abusive nature of his father. And the film, all we see, and why I say it's repetitive, is it's just awkward, miscommunicating tension. It's not the true nature of it. And
No.
there is a debate, a discourse you can have about biopic versus documentary. How accurate should it be? In my opinion, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but in my opinion, you can't sell it, even though it's not a documentary, you can't sell it as his story if you're not really going to tell the authentic story. It's dramatized, I know all that, but this movie had too much taken away. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
I agree with it. I think that was my biggest issue with it. And even like there was just some crazy like things like why did you change it? Like I found two details that don't really change anything. Yours were very important to the plot, Josh. These two that I found really funny, that they said that they did these things in the time that they did. Like, why would they change them? Like Bubbles the monkey. They said that he came in 1981. He wasn't born until 1983. It's like I'm like, and I know it's super nitpicky, but I was like looking at this. I'm like, wait, why would you? What's the point of changing that?
They
Like,
just wanted
I
a monkey in the
agree.
movie.
I
yeah,
agree.
they just
Yeah, they're
wanted
like,
a
we need to
monkey.
get him in sooner.
They were like, we can't fit him in 1983. We got to move him back to 1981.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
And then I saw that Michael's whole struggles with, I think I'm saying this right, is vitiligo? I don't know. I can't say, don't
Is
know how to say it.
vitiligo?
Yeah, yeah. So his struggle with that also did not start until 1983, which was also shown in 1981. So I was like, that's crazy. Like, it was shown even earlier than that, I think. They were
What
looking at
did
it
they
like that.
what did they show in 1983? If they're taking out all this stuff that actually happened,
That
That's
was
what I
what
mean.
started. They start in that one. They started like with the victory tour stuff.
Oh,
is when
okay.
they
That
started
was the Victory
showing
Store
that.
stuff? Okay.
But
Right,
it's weird
that
because
was 1984.
the
so
movie's still
planning
the same runtime, so you could have just put that stuff in 1983. Like, it's not like it changed. You made the movie shorter or anything.
Yeah, it's not gonna you adjust it just by a little bit. It was just a little historical inaccuracies that I was looking into after watching it too, and I'm like, that's kind of just
Well,
weird.
It is
And
weird.
Why?
I found another one that made no sense to me that had to do with back with the Jackson 5 time, which by the way, I don't think there was enough of the Jackson 5 in the movie. I think it was very much like Gary, Indiana, Jackson 5, bam, Michael Jackson. I just wanted to see more from that time period, I guess.
No development of the brothers, you know? I feel
Oh,
like I
they
didn't
were-
know
you
any
You
of the
couldn't tell them
characters.
apart. They were
No, you
so
couldn't tell them apart.
one-dimensional.
Yeah, they were just playing in the band the entire time.
They were
there
so
was no brothers.
one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that every character outside of Michael and Joe Jackson were one-dimensional and had nothing to do in the whole movie.
Yeah.
But and again, this one I'm going to say is a minor detail. So it's not like something that really brings it down. It's just the collective, why are you making these changes? It doesn't make any sense. In 1968, when they were playing at the Regal Theater in Chicago, the Jackson 5, in the movie, they open up for Gladys Knight and the Pips, or they follow Gladys Knight and the Pips. That wasn't true. That didn't happen. They opened or they followed Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers. Again, very minor. It doesn't really matter. It's just a question of why.
Yeah.
What's the point in rewriting the history? Just say it was Gladys Knight.
It's like, did they not want to do enough research where they could get those details right? And they were like, fuck it, let's just throw a name out there.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of what it feels like. They were just like, yeah, screw it. No one's gonna fact check us on
Yeah.
this.
They're like, "This
Joke's on
monkey
you,
was somewhere."
fuckers. I knew when Bubbles was born.
Yeah. They're like, nobody's gonna call us out on that shit.
Yeah.
Nobody cares
Meanwhile,
that much.
everyone's going to call you out because we're not
Yeah.
idiots. We know
Yeah,
the
I know.
timeline. Like we have Wikipedia. We know when things happen.
Jack, I fully agree that I think it was just them cutting corners so they I guess spend less time on it. I don't know.
It's just like crazy because
But
Josh
I-
could Google it in 5 seconds and figure
Yeah,
out who
literally.
was in front of them.
I
Right.
had to
It's-
confirm. I had to confirm when Bubbles was born. It took me 2 seconds just to do that, and I was
That's
like, yeah.
insane.
It was even something like the same article from Rolling Stone mentions that where is it? Michael fired his father earlier than the movie portrays. Like the whole timeline is just out of whack. Like it's just not accurate in the slightest bit.
Yeah, that's weird. That's just strange.
So
Why? Just
I'm
why?
watching this, and all said and done, the vibes that I was getting is, yeah, we're getting a fun run through of his discography, and it is a legendary discography. And Jafar Jackson is doing it so seamlessly, it's fantastic. But everything around it is so jarbled and confusing and inaccurate and unauthentic to the point where, again, audiences are enjoying it because they're getting what they want out of it, and power to them. Everyone is entitled to get from a film what they want out of it. But for me, you're pitching this as Michael's story, and you are excluding maybe 2/3 of the story. It just isn't a good enough biopic, in my opinion. It's not good enough.
This is making me wonder if we ever get or got the allegations in a movie or in this one or in the sequel or anything like that, would they just mishandle and misrepresent what happened? I mean, they're doing it with details about his life, and this is supposed to be his life story. Maybe it's better that we don't get the allegations in this movie because they might fuck it up so badly where it's worse.
I
But
think that's
then,
an interesting perspective, though. Like, could
yeah.
it be honestly? Could they unravel it and make it somehow worse? They're just like, yeah, I feel like they would cut corners on that too.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah, he got allegations, but don't worry, he's Spider-Man now.
Yeah.
He's still got bubbles.
Yeah,
But,
he's still-
but this
Bubbles
is,
and him will play Twister
this
again.
is- this is my problem with the sequel happening. So you have this movie, it ends with his story continues. No fucking shit it does.
It was an Avengers level ending.
It really was.
He will be in Doomsday.
Which, by the way, it's funny you say it, Jag. In the part of the scene when Michael puts Thriller at the top when he finally figures out that should headline the album, people in the theater were like, "Woo!" and started clapping like a big cameo reveal. And
It was so funny.
I turned to Matt and I was like, "Bruh, come on,
That's
man."
hilarious.
I was like, "Guys, that really is getting an applause."
It's like,
Well,
guys,
there
we
was
know this
that.
happens.
We also had
we
someone
know it
taking
happened.
there was someone taking pictures in the theater before the movie started. Like, and like, like I get it. Maybe like one or two, like, hey, you're there with a friend, like that's great. But like six or so, like during the previews, like taking multiple flash pictures. I was like,
We gotta
this is
remember
all
this
as a
moment
man.
forever, dude. We gotta remember
I
this
was like, oh my
forever.
god.
But my problem with the sequel is, like I said at the beginning of this review, they covered all the most popular stuff from his discography in this film. If you go look him up, post 1988, post the Bad album, it's really not that much. He didn't get a lot of music out because of the allegations. It wasn't as popular. The other side of the story is the allegations. Like, that's what it is. That is part of his legacy, for better or worse. And it's obviously for worse, but it's part of the legacy. You can't ignore it. You can't work around it. It wasn't included in this film. It was taken out because there was, legal agreements that the victims could not be included in any sort of Michael Jackson adaptation, book, film, whatever. So that's why they rewrote and reshot the ending. Because the original ending of the film was supposed to be like the first allegations. He was like, there was a scene of him staring at the mirror, police lights in the background, and it was going to lead into that. They completely take that out. How are you going to do a sequel? Like, what are you going to even talk about in the second movie if not the allegations? There's nothing else.
You think that when they went into editing and changing the ending, they forgot to take out the his story continues thing? And they're like, oh, fuck, because they were going to cancel the sequel. Oh, fuck, we forgot that we're leading into a second one.
Like, everyone's like, woo, another Michael Jackson movie. We're like,
Like, no, we're not getting
Yeah,
you're right. How do they do that when they change the entire ending? I mean, they're just going to do his life without that. And that's, I mean, if they were doing it, I think they would still misrepresent it, but you can't do it without that. So I don't know
what
the hell
is
we're
his
getting.
life in the 90s and 2000s without the allegations is my
Yeah,
question.
seriously. Like,
what is
what
his
is
life?
there to tell? Right.
Where him
that
and
was
Bubbles
it.
Massive
up
part.
to.
The spin-off in the MJCU, and it's just fucking Bubbles hanging out.
Bubbles.
They just
And the giraffe.
it's the Bubbles, the giraffe, the llama. They all go on an adventure somewhere in the safari. Like that. You know what? That probably will be the second movie.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
Anyway, all that to say, like, that was why my rating is where it is. Because as fun as the performance scenes are, everything around it just was visionless, inaccurate, inauthentic, and confusing. And like I said, I wanted and expected more out of this. It could have been one of the greatest movies of the year.
Yeah.
And instead we're settling for, in my opinion, much less.
Yeah,
I
I think
agree.
I don't know if we're starting to do like closing things on this movie. But I'll just say, yeah, basically to sum up my opinion, I had fun, I had a good time, and it's got very obvious flaws that you really cannot deny, but they weren't enough for me to drag this movie down. I still think it was a good, entertaining film, and it was a good time watching it.
Yeah, for my closing thoughts, I think that it was I agree. It was a lot of fun. Music was great, energy was up, but I think in my perspective, I needed a little more. I needed just a little more depth to this piece that I think would have taken it far and beyond. But I think I enjoyed it. I think it was great for what it was. I do wish it was more. Though.
I think
I got
3
that.
words I would use: safe crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
It is a safe
Hey,
crowd pleaser.
This is the crowd that was pleased, all right?
Yeah,
Listen,
I mean,
That's
fair
right.
enough.
I'm part of the herd.
Yeah, you're part of my Hugh Jackman sheep herd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
The mystery
so
is where'd the rest of the movie go?
Yeah, true.
Facts. Who murdered the movie? All right, so that's Michael. If you haven't seen it, which most people probably have at this point, go check it out for, if no other reason, to form your own opinion, because I do think it's safe to say this is one of the most divisive films of the year. There are plenty of people who love it. You're not alone,
Definitely.
Jack. Plenty of people love it. There are plenty of people who hated it more than Matt and I know. And then there are people
Yeah.
like Matt and I who enjoyed it but have a lot of issues with it. So very divisive, great conversation around it. I do recommend everyone goes to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed.
What do we got next?
From Michael to Mommy. Let's
Yes.
move on
Mommy
to
Mary.
Mother Mary, which was
Woo.
the film, like I said, that I was going to see last week. Matt, we were going to go see this, and then it
Yep.
turned out it was a limited release. I was very disappointed, so we
It was
ended
a
up
crash out for
settling.
both of
We
us.
settled for the Mummy instead of the
They
Mommy.
tricked you guys.
They did.
But we finally got it. So these are our ratings and reviews for Mother Mary coming up. Spoilers ahead. I'm gonna go first this time because I had to settle for last with the hee-hees. So I'm gonna go first, and I give Mother Mary 7 red dresses out of 10. Yes, I like this movie more than Michael.
I give Mother Mary 2 Anne Hathaway's abs out of 10.
They're good abs.
Okay.
They are good abs.
They are impressive.
She had
abs.
more than 2 of them in that movie.
Yes, she did. I'm also, let's see, what do I want to I'm going to give Mother Mary 7 circles drawn with chalk in that basement out of 10.
Bro's just saying shit now because I stole red dress.
7 circles.
Red dress was my fucking
That was
thing.
the only thing you could use for this
7
one.
seven scissors
Oh,
out
there
of
you go.
10. There we go.
Whoa,
I was gonna go
okay.
I was gonna say 7 scissors out of 10. Not that type of scissors.
Yeah, see, this is why I had to bring my backup.
Yeah, you
Jack.
guys are on the same page again. What the fuck?
He's my muscle.
Yeah, what the hell?
I'll probably be on a different page for the finale for Invincible than Josh. So there we go. That's where it differs.
All right, then Jack's my
Ooh.
muscle there.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I loved it. I loved it. All right, but Mother Mary.
Yes, I actually did like this movie more than Michael. I just want to start. I'd rather hear your take first, Jack, since like Michael, you're a bit more on your own island. But I just want to say, for the beginning of our discourse we're going to have here, I think that this weekend of Michael and Mother Mary is a very interesting analysis of what an individual is looking to get out of a film. Like, I think we can all agree on that. There is clearly a wide range and difference in what we might be going to the theater to get out of a film. No opinion is wrong. That's the beauty of it. But there is that difference. So I don't want you to go too far in the negatives. It's always better to start with positives. What did you like about this movie? It's out of 1.
Literally. All right,
Not
I'll
much.
tell you what I like. I'll tell you what I like. Because I reserve my ones for movies that are poorly. What I think about this plus being poorly made. I think this movie was not poorly made. I think the acting was fine. And I think the visuals were really well done. I liked the way it looked. I liked the black void that they show a lot in this movie. I think it looked really great. And I think Anne Hathaway and the other person were also
Michaela
great.
Cole.
Michaela.
The other person? There's got to be some racial undertones with that one, dude.
No, I only know
Nah.
one person's name in this movie, so it's Anne
You don't know
Hathaway.
Hunter Schafer?
I do now. I didn't know that was Hunter Schafer.
She's Hilda.
Fucking whatever.
I
Okay,
forgot that
takes-
you said that.
listen. Those are the only things I like about this movie. You guys say what you like, because I have so many negatives.
Okay.
Well,
I feel like the opposite, Josh. We should maybe start with the negatives and then go into the positives with our end because
the problem is, so here's the thing. The first act, you guys know 3-act structure, right? One beginning, middle,
familiar.
end. 3-act structure.
heard of it
Beautiful.
before.
Yeah.
All right, great.
I dabble.
This movie is so divisive, we have to go right down to the basics. The first act is boring. It is definitely boring. Matt and I were not into it.
I was falling asleep.
I was,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was sitting there and I was like, oh no, is this really not going to work for me? Like, this first act was boring. you know, when she gets to the manor. I liked the very beginning when you see like the opening credits when she drops off the stage. I was like, ooh, okay, like let's see where this goes. And then it's just dull. It's she comes in, she's looking for, I think Sam is the designer's name. Mary's looking for Sam, and they're just kind of yapping. It's obviously I think kind of and you used this word originally, Matt, the dialogue is flat.
Yeah.
It's not really the best written one. I think that is a bit of a recurring theme with David Lowery sometimes. He could definitely use a writing partner. But so for a while I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh no, like this just might not be it. Like I was really excited. In fact, this was one of my top 10 most anticipated of the year.
We were hyping it up beforehand. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Josh is thinking this, and I'm sitting there sideways.
Well,
like,
I turned to Matt. I mean, I was bored, and then I turned to Matt, and he was like slumped in the chair, and I was like, dude, like I felt you. I did.
Yeah. I was fighting sleep demons. I'm like, man, here I am. I would thought I was gonna love this movie, but
Oh man.
boom.
But my thing is that it did take a turn where it never is necessarily the most entertaining film. And that's why I wanted to preface with what I said between Michael and Mother Mary. Michael's a more entertaining film. But I do think Mother Mary has so much that it offers beneath that surface that when it finally lets you in, and it takes a while, but when it finally lets you in, really when they start going through the ghost stories, that's when it suddenly revealed itself to me. And I mean, I don't want to go into a long tangent before we start hearing your guys' thoughts, but there's a lot going on here. And I said this is the way I described it a lot. It's a film that leaves you a lot to chew on. Like there's a lot, I think, to really dissect. And I will. But I do think it becomes this reflective piece of cinema. It's very intimate, it's very vulnerable, it's very withdrawn, but it has a lot to say if you start to listen. And again, it takes a while to get there, but when it
Takes
does,
a while.
I start to see the pieces in place. I'll get to those. I don't want to ramble too long, but that's
Well,
my initial thought.
your initial opening. I'll bounce off you on that one. And as I said before, I was bouncing off you already. That first act, my God, I came into the movie. That concert scene opens. I'm like, oh yeah, this is Mother Mary. Anne Hathaway's about to kill this shit. I was great. And about maybe 15 minutes later, I was sitting in my chair, just ready to fall asleep. I was like, what's going on? And I'm sitting there and I'm like fighting sleep. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, am I that tired? And I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, I was pretty awake. I was
Now
like,
you
this is
are.
just boring. Yeah, now I was. I was like, okay, so clearly this is more the movie than me being exhausted. And I was like, man, I was so excited. And I have to say, like my number one nitpick of this movie is the dialogue still. Like I was between a 6 or a 7. I had it at 6.5 for the longest time. And Jack, I haven't told you this yet, but I watched a terrible, terrible movie called The Family. And while I was falling asleep, it's a Robert De Niro movie. And it's just about a mafia family. While I'm sitting there falling asleep, I'm like, oh my God, the design is too good to be below that. So I kept lowering that movie score in my head. And I'm like, I can't give this the same grade as that. And I was about ready to give this movie a 4 or below about halfway through until we hit a certain point. And I like to call that point the basement. When they were in that basement doing their storytelling back and forth there, that I think was one of the strongest parts of the movie for me. I think that's when it started to peel away the layers between the two of them and kind of build on who they are. And in my review, I even wrote, and I wrote it down to make sure I bring it up. I said, Anne Hathaway, the baller you are. You really said, hold my Devil Wears Prada 2 advertisements and let me ball. And she did. And I think as the movie went on, their character development really deepened. The traumatic relationship they had was really cool. I actually wore red because of that. I was like, I'm looking for something to put on. I'm like, the color red, which I am famously known for loving.
Right, and so when the whole time before that, when she was like, "Not, it can't be red. The dress can't be red.
red."
Matt's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "I love red."
I was like, dude, this is my favorite color. This is right up there. What are we doing?
Why is this bitch acting like there's a red scarf inside her body? What the fuck, dude?
What the fuck? It's like she's being plagued by a red scarf ghost. This is fucked up. But no, I think that, I think that as it developed, it became like, again, the strongest thing, and Jack, I'm bouncing back off of you here, the visuals. The visual elements of this movie were fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I thought they took it to a whole other level, especially when that basement scene on. I was like, whoa, the transitions, even there's one transition, I think, when she's in, there's like those barn doors, and this is what
When
was
she
it?
goes to the concert, when
Yeah,
the,
when she
the
opens the
first
barn
time
doors
she
into the
saw
concert.
Mary's concert after
Mhm.
they like
Yeah,
separated.
she cracked her
That
tooth.
transition, yeah, with
Yeah.
well, for
That
the
was
cracking of tooth, I
great.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, that one hurt me. I didn't think
Have-
I'd get physically
I
like.
know. I don't want to see her clenching.
I laughed when she was like, "Oh, I tore it out myself," and Mary was like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "No, I went to the dentist."
Yeah, that was so. All right, I will give
I'm
that.
like, what
That's
the fuck?
another gripe. That was one of the things that made it a 6 instead of a 7. I was like, there was that whole scene of her just tearing it out, and then she was like, "Nah, I'm just fucking with you." I was like, "What?"
what the
But
fuck
that
was
made
that about?
sense for her, especially with
know,
the way
it
she
did.
felt like she's trying to get under his skin.
It does.
I just want to ask you guys: have you ever seen either A Ghost Story or The Green Knight?
I have not. No.
They're both made by David Lowery, and both of their strong suits are also their visual storytelling, whereas he does lack a bit in the dialogue. The way he is able to get his thematic principles across in the visuals that you see is second to none. It's beautiful, but it's also impactful and meaningful, and it's purposeful. So that is a plus. I didn't really say that in my opening there, but that is a plus. I agree.
So clearly, someone needs to introduce him to a writer.
He needs a writing partner. I
Yeah,
think he could use a writing
I
partner.
do. I
Yeah.
100% do, because I think my final gripe that I'll say for now is that the writing really wasn't that strong. It was really all the visuals that did most of the storytelling.
So we will get into what this movie was to us, and
Yeah.
because we're dancing around it, and it's a bit of a lengthy opinion. So before we say what we feel this movie was about and what it was to us, what it means to us, what it's saying, I want to now get your side of it, Jack, before we give that, because I'd rather hear your take before we give.
He's already smiling here.
Our take. No, wait. I said this, Matt. I said this to you, Matt. Jack, I can guess the 3 things you'll say.
I have more than 3 probably.
Okay, but bullet points.
Go ahead. You want to say? I'll tell you if I was going to say.
I think you're gonna say it's boring.
Yeah, it's boring as fuck. Yeah.
You're gonna say it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Correct.
And
2 for 2.
what was my third one, Matt? I had a third one.
You said it was boring. I can't remember the third one either. Shoot.
Oh, and you didn't give a shit about any of it.
I don't give a shit about any of it. Wait,
I know you. I know
That's
you.
perfect.
He does. That's impressive.
Listen, I'll tell you what I want. What I think about this movie. This movie fucking sucks ass. Okay, listen. The whole idea of the movie is like their friendship, right? And this, first of all, you don't know. You're 40 minutes in the movie before you find out she fired her. I don't give a fuck because there's no flashbacks to their relationship. They have no chemistry together. I don't give a fuck about their friendship. And that's what the movie is based on. Me caring about this relationship that they don't put anything out there for me to care about. And then you get into the ghost story, and I don't give a fuck about this either because none of it makes sense. I don't understand. She cracks her tooth. Maybe she's so enraged that this bloody dress comes out of her body or whatever. Okay. It must be real because it possessed that. I was like, all right, it's fake. They're both imagining it. They're psychos, whatever. Except in the flashbacks that apparently they can both see each other's memories for some reason. In the flashbacks, Anne Hathaway's friend or whatever, the fan, gets fucking possessed and tries to insert herself into the cut. So like, it's real. This is all really happening. It's stupid. It's so dumb because they act like it's not really happening. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. Maybe they're both lunatics, like connected through this ghost story. But it is really happening because someone literally gets possessed in the movie and physically harms somebody else. Dumb movie. I hate it.
See,
Straight to the point.
First of all, I don't think they can see each other's memories. It is a visual method to show us the stories they're telling one another.
But they literally walk up to each other's memories and they're like, what's that? Wait, what does she mean by that? And it's like they're pointing stuff out.
It's a visual representation of it. It's not that they can literally see it. It's not like the memory is forming in the room there.
I know. I think that's stupid though. I knew that's why they did it that way because they don't want to just have them talking the whole time. But it's stupid.
I
think
we've seen so many examples of that done in other media over the years. I mean,
I liked it. That's when I really started like, oh, here, picture me in the movie theater chair. right here. That's when as soon as they started doing that, I was like, hold up. You know the meme where you're sitting up when you're gaming
Oh
and
yeah,
like
yeah,
you
he's
sit up in your
leaning.
chair? That was me. I was like, okay, wait a minute.
Really?
Wait a minute. When they started using the visual aspects and like showing the story instead of the bleak and horrible dialogue, I was like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He's got something to say here.
It's the classic show don't tell, right? I mean, when they're just talking, and I do think that that first act, as boring as it is, does lay some of the groundwork for that payoff later on. It's just so dull. But when
Yeah.
they start presenting it in a more visually spectacle kind of manner, it does kind of open it up a little more. And I will argue back that it's not all really happening. This film plays in a massive psychoanalytical, metatextual, and downright surrealist playground. So when you're watching a movie that is a surrealist film, there are things that you see that you think the actors or the characters are seeing that presents itself as something that is really happening. That's not actually. It's more of a manifestation of a thematic principle that the filmmaker is using a non-linear way to kind of portray that. It's not for everybody. It is not Michael. It is not like it's not a film that a casual moviegoer is going to walk in and appreciate. But it is artsy fartsy, but surrealist filmmaking does not equate to everything on screen is actually happening.
But how is it not real if they have scars and physical things and other people witness it? Like, you know what I mean?
Because the scars, well,
The
the
person
whole
took a photo of the girl that was freaking out.
right, but we don't,
The girl
you
also
know,
stabbed her because she was
I
like,
think it's
right. Well,
also
I'm not saying that part in particular didn't happen, but like for example, with the dress coming at the end, there was not actually a dress in her. It's a representation of their artistic connection and
yeah,
the bond that brings them together. Like that's why I'm saying like the visual shot at the end when she is like wearing the dress at the show and the dress is literally connected to Sam. It's that that's obviously not actually happening. That is, a signal that they are for even if their friendship is severed, their bond from their artistic creation is connected forever. With Sam, it's with their fashion. With Mary, it's her music. But it still exists, and that is the way David Lowery chooses to portray that to us.
yeah. I saw it more as like even like with the story like of when they were all there. I also like to think that we're hearing it from that perspective, right? So I'm constantly questioning it and saying like, is this even what happened? At the same time. But yeah, I think that was really just uh like the visual representations of both their trauma-based relationship that they have and what they've taken from it, even though their friendship is done and this is it. Like they're not coming back to it. You see just so much of it through those visuals. Like even just the connection that they've made, even before, like the pushing it away, how Sam's character kind of pushed away all of uh all the hate that she had for her and like used her or all the memories and like used that hate to kind of guide her I guess her job and her success, while Anne Hathaway's character just buried it deep into her fucking guts. Was
yeah,
where
just
the
shoved it right in
yeah,
there.
shoved it right in there. She shoved it so deep she couldn't get it out herself. Like it's all a really trauma like inducing thing.
Yeah, like I get if you want to say like it wasn't real, sure, and it was just sort of a way to visually tell this story, but it's like they don't deal with the real ramifications of what happens. I mean, she cuts herself in the chest, and I was like, okay, that wasn't real. It didn't happen because when the people showed up, it was fine. She had a scar on her and went to do a concert the next day. Like, there's no actual like consequences for the things that happen with this ghost. She has scars on her. Who cares? And like their friendship is ruined. Who cares? I don't care about the relationship one bit.
I think it's a little give and take of the buy-in there, like, because again, I also was at first I was like, "Who the fuck are these people? Why do I care about this?" I'm like, what is the story here?" But I think taking into the big thing on how there's like the deepest theme that I saw out of it was that like I took that one can't grow from their feelings until they approach them head on. And that was like the interactions with them and stuff like that. And I think that I don't know. It's tough because you're right. Those physical manifestations were never really talked about. Like the giant, even when they walked in, they were just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and
They
then
never
But
were like,
even
"Let's go to the hospital."
yeah,
But
really.
maybe that's where I go back to the narrator thing, where what are the true scars? Are we seeing actual physical scars, or is it the scars of their relationship that we're seeing? Is it all just kind of this big metaphor? You know, that's what I'm saying.
it is. I mean, even if we see, like, I do think the scar on the hand is a bit different. Like, I think a very interesting one is the scar on the chest, and obviously it happens to Sam too. It happening to Sam too is because it's exactly what you're saying, Matt. It's more of a metaphor of the shared struggle of their creative process to kind of reconciliate with the painful traumatic past.
Yeah.
And like that's what I'm taking out of that, at least.
Yeah, I
And
was like,
that's
that's
why
not
no one
really
else
there.
addresses it. That's
No,
why
but I'm
no one
talking
else
about the
addresses
actual scar that Anne Hathaway has while she's doing the show. Like her chest was cut open, like clear as day, and she has a
Right,
scar at the end, right? Like
right, because it's a healing
recently
scar.
stitched up.
It's healing from, again, that painful process that they have to go to have this catharsis of relief, to kind of be able to bury the past wound. So it's, we see it there. Even after when she's doing the show, we see the scar healing. That doesn't mean it needs to be addressed by like Hilda. You know what I mean? It's about the connection with Sam.
Well, no, I mean, I just meant like when I mean, it's not a huge deal. It was just something that I thought was stupid. Like the fact that she has herself cut open, and then the people show up, and then they're like, they don't rush her to a fucking hospital. Like they don't, like there's no reaction to her
That's valid.
literally bleeding out the chest in the center. Like that's insane.
Both of them sitting
Yeah.
in a circle.
I assume Sam's wasn't actually there because she didn't actually cut herself. But like,
yeah.
And then I thought that Anne Hathaway's wasn't there either. I was like, okay, that obviously didn't happen either. And then she's got the scars. Like she did cut herself with shears in front of everybody.
I just don't think that is important, and like seeing them rush her to the hospital would be irrelevant to the purpose of the story.
But it confuses me as to what I'm supposed to care about. Like, if she fucking cut her own head off, am I supposed to care about that? Because maybe it's not real. Maybe it didn't happen. Like, I don't know what's happening in this movie. There's no explanation. I can make my own inferences, but I don't care enough about these characters to even infer anything.
I think it does open a conversation of, though, like what makes you care about a character in the first place.
I
Is it
think
because
if we
it's an
got,
established character that you know.
but this movie's not opposed to doing flashbacks, right? Like we get a whole second act that's flashbacks. Why was there not a single flashback of their relationship or the moment that she got fired or her reaction besides clenching her tooth for 5 minutes? Like I would have loved to see why this relationship was so important to them because as far as I can tell, she worked for her, she fired her without really telling her she was fired, and that's it.
I was
think
hoping, or sorry, Josh.
No, you go, Matt. You go.
I do agree that maybe a flashback. Honestly, some flashbacks would have added to the story. It would have added to that story element, like some kind of deeper, like showing them actually. Like one of the things that I nitpick on it is that we didn't see a lot of their relationship beforehand, and like that depth building would have been really nice to see. So I do agree with that, Jack.
That's what I needed.
That I think that maybe that could have taken it to a whole other level. But I think this comes again to the writing. Like this is a denotion on the director. For
but I want to
not
push back. I want to push back
no,
because
push back.
I would make the argument that you don't need to see too much of it because their pain that they express, that we learn more and more throughout the film, shows just exactly how important that creative relationship between the two of them was, even if we don't see it, because to them it almost becomes a bit obvious to me that they struggle to form authentic identities on their own and have creative expressions without the inspiration of their partnership that they had for so long. I will agree that maybe we should see more about the moment of the firing. I can agree with that. But I don't think you need a whole lot of them working together for it to become obvious that they kind of had this codependency in their artistic endeavors, that so much of Sam struggling to break away, and she says she hasn't had a good idea in years. Like, it really comes down to little lines like that. I haven't had a good idea in years. Why? I don't work with you anymore, and you gave me all my great ideas. Mary struggles to write great music now because a lot of the music that she wrote came off the relationship and the dressing that we get from Sam. And so I do think the film does, in that sense, portray the importance that these two have to one another, even if it's not necessarily spoon feeding it to us. It's like the devil in the details kind of thing. I really think that you see that dependency build up, and you can infer through their lines to one another, and their struggles that they continue to showcase to continue on their paths. And that's why I think the red dress is so important, because it's like a shared burden. It passes, as Sam kind of pushes it away, she's able to move on. Mary, she sees it's in her because she's burying that burden and their endeavor in that basement is releasing both of them. It's that catharsis, releasing both of them from this burden of, the way things fell out between the two of them.
You just praised the show don't tell flashbacks, but now you're like, I'm just confused, because it seems like now you're defending, instead of doing flashbacks of the relationship, them just talking and telling each other how they felt.
No,
like,
what
is
I'm
that not them
saying,
just telling the audience we used to be good friends instead of showing it?
No, I'm saying that you can't do everything for each one. Of course, dialogue's important. Of course, you have to actually say lines. There are. What I'm saying is, I commend the film for giving us these important elements and these representations in these visual flashbacks. But that doesn't mean that every line spoken is unnecessary and unimportant, that there's nothing to take away. Like I said, the first act, boring as it may be, does lay that groundwork. So I'm sitting here, I'm saying you can have both. Now, if they did all telling, or, that would be a bad movie.
But for their relationship, they did do all telling. That's my point, is they didn't show us anything from their relationship.
I think they did show a little bit. It depends on where you're looking at it from. It was more deep, like deep cut. It wasn't obviously from back then, but I think that we got to see, even just through their dialogue from that basement era kind of scene. Because again, I missed most of the beginning. But I think that they kind of were able to develop at least a sense that their connection was so strong that they had this beautiful workmanship that they kind of built on creative endeavors within each other, and they were such rocks for one another that, like, you could even feel it. Like, I kind of was like, okay, clearly these two were almost like kind of codependent. I think that they were able to show that through the visuals and just the energy spent and emotional loss that both of them suffered from losing one another. I think that kind of showed the weight and the strength of these things. That's how I saw it. That's how I took it from the thing.
I get what you guys are saying. I just don't see it. It sucks, because I wanted to like this movie, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Man, dude, I fucking hated this
Here's the thing. I didn't think it was a you movie. Again, I will be hard pressed to ever find a surrealist film that you will enjoy. It's just not your thing. Like, I think the way you approach the films that you watch is a lot more of a grounded approach. And there's, again, nothing wrong with that. Surrealist films are definitely a niche. It's definitely, more artsy fartsy, not for everybody. There's nothing wrong with that. So I was never under the impression, when I saw this and I see just how surrealist it is, I'm like, wow, like, okay, I don't know that you are going to connect with it the same way that I did, or maybe, I guess, Matt, you did. You're always the wild card for me, but me, I eat that fucking shit up like it's breakfast. So I didn't think you were going to be so low on it, but I'm not surprised, to say the least.
And definitely the chewing on was
not everything
was
is for everyone. Not everything is for everyone. And I do agree, Matt. I think that the film has actually aged better for me since I've seen it. Like, I saw it, I enjoyed it, but I was like, let me sit on this. This is really one you need to sit on. And the more I have, and the more I've really thought about it, the more I actually have grown to appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it too.
I think I had it at a 6 originally, and then that's why I bumped it up to a 7, because I'm like thinking about it more, and I'm like, wow, that was a really deep way of showing that. Even like the color red in general, like the key that they needed for it. I was like, man, they were. It was an interesting way, and it was a strong way of probably one of the best visual storytelling movies I've ever seen. Like, off the bat, it's definitely surreal.
We can close it out. I do want to make sure we leave ourselves enough time for Invincible.
Yes, which I'm so excited to talk about.
But so needless to say, that's Mother Mary. I do think that it is a film that, if you're going to go watch Mother Mary,
Get a full
Definitely
night's
go
rest.
into. I did say
Bring a
that. Get
pillow and a blanket.
get a full night's rest, but
Yep.
definitely keep in mind what it is that you're actually going in to see and what the film's intentions are. And I think you do that, and you'll realize that there is more than the surface allows. I liked
Pillow and
it.
blanket for the first act, though. Pillow and blanket.
Yeah, for sure. So I liked it though. I think it is a good movie. Um and yeah, that's Mother Mary. So before unless you guys have anything else to add.
No, I enjoyed it for what it was. I think that the dialogue took away. That was really my only thing. But it turned it around in the halfway through the second act. I think that's
Yeah.
where it really took it for me.
No, yeah, I agree. I think that overall it's a movie that I'll definitely want, not anytime soon, but I'll be interested to revisit this one and see how it's sat with me. Let's say in like, I don't know, 3 years, 2-3 years. I'd be interested to see how it sat with me in that time, and if I
Jack
have a
is
different
like, I'm never
perspective
gonna
on it.
revisit this movie ever again
don't
in my
even-
life.
I never even want to hear anyone say Mother Mary ever again.
Mother Mary,
You
Mother
just-
Mary, Mother Mary,
No,
Mother Mary.
stop, dude. Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. You're gonna summon Anne Hathaway's abs, bro. She was
Jack, I know
ripped.
you. Jack,
We can
I
do
know
that.
you'll have to. I don't even care if this is on the air. Jack, I know you'll have to look back. I know you froze there for a second, but Matt and I were fine, so I don't think you need to cut it out. It might
I'm
have
not
just
even gonna
been
cut
you.
anything.
I think it's just gonna be you, like.
I'm just standing there. It's okay. I got the gist. I got the gist of what I missed. Some technical
Anyway, it's
difficulties for a
fine.
second.
We're gonna move past it. I just because I knew I was gonna forget to say it, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just say it now. We're gonna move on real quick before we get to Invincible. I did want to talk about the Coyote versus Acme trailer. We
Yeah,
all
I
know
forgot
that
about
this was the movie that originally Warner Brothers was shelving. They were going to write it off as a tax write off. We were never going to see it, never going to see the light of day. It is coming out this August. We got a trailer. It looked awesome. I wanted to pick your guys' brains for the next couple minutes on it real quick.
Super hype. Just a win for the movie community. I love movies like that. I've loved them since Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes, dude.
I was gonna say it's just a banger movie. I'm hoping we get another banger in that category. They're few and far between. I'm just sitting here again waiting with my popcorn, ready to watch it.
Yeah, I'm just excited it's happening. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, me too.
Same thing. Like it gives like my childhood vibes, you know. So I'm
Exactly.
very excited.
And
Yeah.
and especially like I urge all of us and everyone who's listening to watch it, because even if let's say you're not the most interested in it, I can understand that. I still think you should go give it a chance, specifically because showing up for this movie is showing that studios can't just get away with shelving finished films. Support the film. If it makes a lot of money, whether people love it or not, will show that um, you'll make more doing that than writing it off for a tax write-off. So even if like it's Coyote versus Acme today, it's a Marvel movie tomorrow. You know what I mean? So like,
True.
definitely go and support the film. You know what I loved? Real quick, I loved the framing of the advertisement around this being the movie that Acme doesn't want you to see, poking fun at Warner Brothers, kind of making light of that situation. Even at the beginning, it's like a Warner Brothers company, and it zooms down, and it's like Warner Brothers subsidiary of the Acme Corporation. Like, I just love the fourth wall breaking, this kind of metatextual approach to advertising the film. We all know what happened with it, so I think it's hilarious. I think this, like you guys said, it reminds me of my childhood. It looks fun. I love Will Forte. I love John Cena. I love this kind of hybrid animation live action. I think it looks like it could be like one of my top 10 favorites of the year. Like it does. It looks like
Agreed.
it can be a really banger time at the cinema.
A lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up. Like I said, cannot urge people more to go see this one. It's important. I think it's very important to support this film. All right, that does it for movies for today, but we're not done yet. We're going to review season 4 of Invincible on Amazon Prime. The whole season out now. We have all completed it. We will give our ratings and reviews of Invincible season 4.
Spoilers ahead for Invincible season 4.
Yeah,
huge
spoilers
huge
ahead, for
spoilers
sure.
ahead.
All
Yeah.
right, so Matt went first for Michael. I went first for Mother Mary. Jack, why don't you go first for Invincible?
Sure. So I rate Invincible season 4 9.5 Omni-Man toes out of 10.
I like that. Do you want me to go next, Josh?
Sure.
Okay. I give Invincible season 4 10 conquest tombs out of 10. That's what I'm giving it.
I give Invincible season 4 9.7 Alan sex scenes out of 10.
Oh, I like that.
Man, what a fucking banger of a show this is.
Oh my god. And it just keeps getting better. Like this is I said this is my favorite, and this is where I think I'm going to differ. I think this is my favorite season of Invincible so far. I think it really didn't miss. I don't know.
It's so hard because I think season 1 still is the best episode, which is
Yep.
the season 1 finale. I
Oh, it was
think
incredible.
episode 7, when they first fight Thrag, is the second best episode of the whole show of this season.
Yeah.
I think it's the second best episode. The Conquest the reuniting with
massive
Conquest,
fight.
amazing episode. We got banger after banger of this season, and it starts off slow. The first 2 or 3 episodes you kind of gotta get into,
Get
but
a little buy-in. I
the
know there's a
last,
lot
like,
of hate with the Hell storyline that they kind of brought in
No,
there.
I don't know why people hate it. That was a good episode.
I liked it too. I wasn't against it.
It was fun.
It was the only episode of Invincible I've ever gotten like halfway through, and I went, "I'll just finish this tomorrow." I
Really?
did not care, and I was
No.
bored.
Wow, I
I
liked
had
it a
a
lot.
good time. It was
Clancy,
fun.
what-
It's the lost art of the filler episodes, man. It really
Yeah,
is.
I
but
like
I
a
think
good
they're
filler
building
episode.
something. They're building something crazy. With
Yeah,
that
she's
one.
coming
I
back.
feel
That
it.
lava
Oh,
bitch.
for sure,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think, but yeah, it is the lost art of filler episodes. I loved it. I was like on the edge of my seat this whole season. I just heater after heater.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was cool. It was great to
You
see.
know
for
what my
Invincible.
take is actually? So I do agree. I think season 1 is still my favorite. I think part of that has to do with the decline of the animation. And it is a bit of a trade-off between we get the seasons once a year, right? They're coming out very quickly. They don't have enough time to, I mean, if you look back at the first season, there is definitely way more in-depth, more colorful, creative animation going on. Also, they spend so much of the budget on fucking big name voice actors. I do think it's a little unnecessary for
ridiculous.
every character to be
And they're trying to get Bryan Cranston still. He keeps
they're like, we
denying
need
them.
it. I'm like, guys,
They're just
I
gonna
love
throw
Bryan
a fuck ton of
Cranston,
money.
but it's a waste of the budget, in my opinion.
I rewatched
is.
the
I will
first.
say that.
I rewatched the first episode of the whole show recently, and John Hamm is in it for 10 seconds. Why'd you get John Hamm to play the White House security guard in the first minute of the show, and he never comes back? It's ridiculous.
I forgot about that.
It's so
I
stupid.
really forgot about that. Why the fuck would they give him a bag? And it was John Hamm.
It was
giving him a
John
bag.
Hamm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I actually do think my favorite episode of season 4, as great as the Thrag battle is, as great as the final episode is, my favorite episode is when Nolan first comes back to Earth and has to confront Debbie. That was one of the best scenes in the entire show. It
was
really, because there's a lot. Invincible has a lot going on. It's juggling a lot of different storylines all at once. So when I look at it, I say there's a lot of great stuff. You know, Angstrom Levy, who we don't even really see much of in this. You know, that stuff is not really.
He's
happening
alive
so
out
much
there
in-
somewhere.
Somewhere he'll come
He's
back.
cooking something.
What is the best part of this show? It is that relationship between Nolan and his sons and Debbie. It is that conflict. As big as the show gets, as creative as it gets, that personal conflict is the best driving point of the show. And seeing Nolan this season have to kind of look himself in the mirror. I know he was building up, but really in the other 2 seasons, he was like depressed. Now Nolan is kind of a new person that has to face his past. You know, he's on the other side of that journey that he had to go on, and now he's got to rectify with his actions. And seeing him do that, in my opinion, as great as the battles are, as fun as it is to watch, Space Racer coming in with the laser, I mean, it's sick.
Space Racer
Carried.
Yeah, he did.
That stuff to me is the best moments in the show.
I'm with you on that one.
That's a good favorite episode of the season because you get that, and also you get Mark killing Conquest in the same
Yes.
episode.
In the
So
same
what a
episode.
peak episode.
You get emotion after emotion after emotion. That episode was fantastic.
The fucking
Although,
spaghetti guts.
Yeah,
Ugh.
the spaghetti guts was so hard to watch.
It was terrible.
I distinctly remember I had my door open and my mom was in the other room and she heard me go, she's like, are you okay? And I was like, no.
It was visceral, but I'll tell you this much. I watched the show Hannibal a few years ago, and there's something in the similar vein, but worse. That's why, and it's live action.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
That's why I was like, okay, I mean, it was gross, but it's animated. I've seen something worse in a live action show that's so fucking twisted. I actually am gonna
Oh,
throw up just talking about it.
I can't even imagine
I
worse
don't. I'm
than
not even. I
That's
don't even want to
horrible.
tell you guys. I'm just gonna.
No.
I don't want to ruin your appetites for
No.
dinner after this. But like that was the only reason why. Because I remember everyone was like, I hadn't seen that episode at first, and everyone on Twitter was like, spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
I knew what they were talking about. I knew that meant intestines. I'm not a fucking idiot, right? I have
Yeah.
media literacy. So I saw it and I was like, I had the same reaction. I'm like, oh man, that's disgusting. But I don't know. Maybe I was prepared for it, or maybe I had seen the other thing before where I was just like, okay, it's bad, but it's not that bad. Like this show is like bad at times.
Yeah, it can get bad. I thought that was one of the most gruesome scenes for me personally because I was sitting there not expecting it. Like that was one of the episodes that I watched almost on drop. It was like the next day and I hadn't seen any spoilers. And I'm just watching it and I'm like, oh my God.
It
Just
was rough.
the gut punch that I got, the literal gut punch. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh. But no, that actually, surprisingly enough, I don't think that was my favorite episode. I think the finale was. I think I
It's a
love
good
the finale that
choice.
much. It was close. And it's like by like a millimeter. Like we're talking hairs here.
That's funny. So your favorite is Josh's favorite is episode, I think 5. Mine's 7.
Yep.
Yours is 8. So
I love that we all have different spread across.
Yeah.
And
You know
that's
what
how
I love?
awesome the season
I mean,
was.
those are like, I will say those 3 are the best episodes of the season anyway. So
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
pick your choice. But I know some people didn't love it because which is stupid, and I'll say why it's such a
It's
great
kind of a
episode,
hot
the
take,
finale.
apparently. Yeah.
Here's why the finale.
Yeah,
people
I
are
was-
wrong
I was
to say
upset.
it's not good.
I was upset that people were upset by the finale.
People
that
are
shit
wrong.
was gas.
They're so
Yeah,
wrong.
And
they are wrong.
we just had a giant battle the episode before, right? We just had this big climactic moment in that episode when they go to Viltrum, they destroy the planet, Thrag kills Thaddeus. Like we had all that. I love how reflective the finale is. How it really makes our characters, especially Mark, of course, come to terms with what has happened and what it means moving forward. It is such a turning point in this show.
Yeah.
And I did
Absolutely.
not need a big, flashy finale. We have gotten that before in Invincible. It was almost a mirror opposite of like season 3's finale with
Yep.
Conquest. The last 2
Season
episodes
1,
of season 3,
season
you have the
3.
Invincible War, and then you have Conquest. But season 4, it's Mark dealing with his mental health, and it's this confrontation with Thrag, but it's just talking. It's so polar opposite of what we gotten, and it works. It does work.
Whoever says there was not enough action in the finale, fuck you. Because you see those PTSD scenes, those were
Crazy.
fucking nuts.
Crazy.
I was sitting on my bed looking at the TV, and I would just see fucking Debbie's head cut off,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I
what's
was like-
going on?
I actually got mad when I saw it, and I knew it wasn't real. And I was
I
like,
know, yeah.
I was
Don't
mad.
do
I
that
was
to
like,
Debbie. Don't
not
do that.
fucking Debbie, dude.
I was like, that's the GOAT.
Paul
That's the
wouldn't let
GOAT
that
right
stand.
there. Yeah,
Paul wouldn't let that happen.
Paul would have fucked him up
Nah,
immediately.
Paul let her
Let's be
run
real.
off with her Nazi ex-husband into
No,
space.
Dude, I think people let their expectations get the better of them for that finale because season 1 ends and you have Nolan versus Mark. Season 2, you have Angstrom versus Mark, where he basically
agree.
kills him. Season 3 of Conquest versus Mark. Season 4, if people were expecting this huge thing after that, literally like the best fight probably in the whole series, maybe Conquest,
Agreed.
but like, it's just their expectations. It's their fault. You should not have expected that to be 2 episodes in a row of the same thing.
Instead,
What
I
would it
think we
have even
got-
been?
Yeah, who are they fighting? The
Like-
Viltrumites again?
Well, like
they
the
would be-
dream sequence at the beginning, maybe they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be a huge battle," and then they saw nothing. And it's like, okay, like it's
Nah,
Mark's PTSD.
What I think we got better was Mark versus Mark. Exactly. It was
I love
Mark's
that.
PTSD. It was Mark versus Mark the entire time. It was him not only having to deal with the PTSD of the Viltrumites. Here he is. He's now kicking himself. Let me just say, the whole scene with Eve when she said she had the abortion was that was one of the best scenes I think of the season. She said it so emotionally. I was like, "Oh my god!" Jillian Jacobs did a wonderful job with that. I
Dude.
was like, "Holy shit!"
People online hate Eve for doing that more than they hate Omni-Man for murdering thousands of people.
Yeah, that's so fucked up.
I know, they're
That's
like,
so
Eve's a
fucked up.
fucking bitch. It's like, yo, you know your favorite character murdered thousands of people in
your
season
favorite
1, right?
character is a Nazi.
She
How about that?
aborted one fetus. Your favorite character slaughtered like a quarter
Well,
of the world's population.
I think that even the Cecil scene with Nolan, where he's kind of approaching that and is like, "Hey, like you need to like 2,136 more times or whatever the number was.
Yeah.
You need 120 more of that." And you
And
get to really see Nolan be like, "Fuck."
and that's why I said my favorite thing, despite all the cool characters and all the different storylines and
The
all the big
emotion.
battles, is Nolan confronting his past. It is the best stuff in the show.
I saw something that I think kind of ties it together so well, that we're currently seeing Mark become more of a Viltrumite while we're seeing Omni-Man become more human, real time. We're seeing the shift of son and father kind of reversing roles. And like obviously Mark is not a pure Viltrumite like that, but like he's going through, he's like
I
has all this
was
stuff.
I was gonna say I
know.
don't know if I
agree.
totally agree with it personally.
I think it's not a perfect analogy, but we're seeing Mark lean more into that side of that
He's
Viltrumite
becoming
thing.
more driven by his emotions,
Yeah.
like Omni-Man, while Omni-Man is now more driven by his, the reality.
Yeah, he
Right,
kills
right.
multiple people this season, Mark.
Yeah,
Right,
we're leaning him into that emotionally driven.
But
like,
I don't think that's him just
more-
becoming a Viltrumite, switching places with his father. I do think that's more of him bending how far he'll go to protect those he loves. The Viltrumites make
I
it
agree.
clear it's not about protecting the people they
No,
love. It's
I
about
don't
their
think
power.
like his character isn't changing, but I think that he's willing to do more Viltrumite-esque stuff, I guess, in a
He's
weird way.
accepting
Like
the reality of what's happening.
Yeah,
I
he's-
agree
This is
with
what I need
that.
to
yeah,
do.
I agree with that.
exactly.
Because in
He's-
season 2, I just watched a clip of season 2 when Anissa first comes to Earth, and
Yeah.
Cecil's like, "Just say you'll conquer Earth, get her out of here," and he's
Uh-huh.
like, "No, they're not just words." And it's like Mark
I've seen that too.
nowadays would fucking do like chop her head off, like
Well,
Yeah.
well, and you see that no more.
Exactly.
I mean, for all the people that we see now Mark have to kill, the most you see that play out is at the end, because season 1, season 2, Mark would never let Thrag,
No.
do what he says he's going to do, which is disappear into Earth to repopulate
Yeah.
the Viltrum,
Yeah.
he'd risk it all
population.
for that.
He would have literally
now,
he would have punched him in the face.
He is facing
And
the
died.
reality. He knows that he can't beat him. Yeah, he knows he can't beat him. He knows that this is all he can do. He has no
Let
choice.
me rephrase what I said. I think that Mark is leaning into his more violent side, but also realistic side, right? While Nolan is leaning more into his humane side and trying to understand being a human a bit. But I think he's being more realistic. Like that whole scene, my favorite scene of the entire season was the very end when he accepts the deal, and when Eve flashes, like it's all the cutscenes of all the PTSD we saw all episode, and then it freezes on Eve for that
I loved it.
beautiful turn towards the camera. I was like, that says so much without saying it. Like that shit went hard. I was like, yeah, obviously Mark is gonna say no.
What
because
about
of
when
that.
Craig
That's a yes.
was getting a baddie after like being on Earth for 15 minutes?
Dude, he's smoking
Dude.
cigarettes and
Dude,
he's riding motorcycles.
He's
Like
never going.
motorcycles and
He's never
cocaine.
going back to that shit.
Dude,
He's
I
smoking
saw-
a fucking cigarette.
I saw a post online and it was like, is Lucian allowed to say the N-word?
Lucian is just Steve Harvey. Like I've seen so many before I even saw the finale. I saw so many Lucian Steve Harvey episodes references. I was like, God damn it.
Do you guys think that Thrag is too overpowered?
I think no.
No.
Only because I think that we're gonna see a lot of development in Mark's powers, and I think it's gonna go fast. And I think that I think right now he seems it. I think he seems like this impenetrable force. And
Yeah.
I think
what they're
that's the
going with.
point. I mean, literally, Mark is invincible, right? Like, that's the whole thing. So what's more powerful than that? You need an opponent. And Thrag this whole time has been built up as this unstoppable force. And that's what we need to see portrayed. And I do think in other mediums or like other shows, media, whatever, we complain that characters are nerfed, right? So I do think in this sense, it's not the opposite. We're not complaining because they're not nerfing Thrag. He is as unstoppable as he's supposed to be. The fact that Nolan is afraid of him, that Nolan can't beat him.
He airbended Nolan into space.
Right, like
That's
that's supposed to show like he is truly invincible.
I just
like,
thought of one of my favorite things, and where it's like Mark turning to Nolan, and he's like, "Dad, how are we gonna beat him?" And I just saw a clip, and it just says "shun," and it's like "son" with a bunch
he's
of
like-
laughing emojis. Yeah, he's like, bruh, he's like, we're fucked,
Bruh.
we're fucked. And that's just to show that, like, that Omni-Man got fucked fucking airbended into fucking space
Yeah,
with that
dude.
one punch.
I'm
Two punches, one into the atmosphere, one out.
I'm convinced that Space Racer's laser would just bounce right off of Thrag at this point.
I
I'd love
honestly,
to
it's
see
a
it.
possibility. I'd love to see it too.
It's not like a major complaint. It makes sense, but it is kind of annoying to constantly see Mark on the brink of death and just have to heal every time. And it's like, my God, dude.
There is plot
Yeah.
armor. Like
It is
Thrag,
definitely-
Thrag
it is
kills
definitely
plot
Thetis.
armor.
Thrag kills Thetis, and he looks at Mark. He's like, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna kill you." And I get it because he's from Earth and Viltrum's destroyed. I get it, but I don't know.
but
It is
Mark-
plot armor that.
How
like,
many times have we Mark had his guts spilled out and now he's just okay? You know, I know they say it was 2 months. It was 2 months, but
yeah.
it is the plot armor of it that is a little repetitive at
eggs.
times.
It is. It can definitely be kind of beating it over the head with it, but like, I'm
Like
okay with
Oliver, this guy honestly should be Oliver's low-key should be dead. Like
that. Yeah,
sorry.
Oliver. I'm surprised Oliver didn't die. That kind of killed it. I thought Oliver died that episode. I
low-key
was
should
sitting
be
there.
dead.
I was like,
He's a dipshit.
"Ugh." Yeah,
I
he's a
saw this
dipshit.
meme. I saw this meme where it was like, Oliver, when he sees a guy named "I can only kill Oliver, that's my only power" guy, and Oliver goes right towards him. Like
Oliver
they
fucking
literally
punches
tell
him
him so
in the
many times, "Don't fight Conquest, don't fight Thrag," and he does the complete opposite, like a fucking idiot.
Well,
Yeah,
I
just
don't
don't
think he's
listen.
not really an idiot. He's
He's a
like
kid.
he's a kid. I mean, kids constantly
He's
spit
too
in the face
confident.
of
Yeah, he's
power.
like,
He-
fuck
he-
that.
If I
could
told
do
the
this.
kid,
It is an
"Don't go to the
overconfidence.
guy with a gun, he's gonna shoot you in the face and kill you," I'm pretty sure the kid would not run straight.
But he's
towards
not
him.
a normal
No, no.
kid.
Listen,
he's not a
not a-
normal kid though.
But he knows he's not
super
strong
Not
enough
every
to
kid
beat
would listen
him.
to that. As a teacher, I know not every kid would listen to that. They'd be like, yeah, watch this.
I was
Yeah,
also,
don't underestimate how kids will pretend like they know more than the people who tell them.
Also, I there's one thing that I didn't love about the season. It's such a minor nitpick. It's so tiny, but it just bothered me because I think there needed to be consequences to Cecil's actions of keeping Conquest alive. And Mark
Yeah.
Mark not saying anything about it to him kind of pissed me off because Cecil needs to Mark got his fucking guts ripped out because Cecil left Conquest alive. Like that's his fault.
I understand that point
I think
wholly.
it's coming.
I would say that, but I also the thing is I understand that point wholly, but at the same time, Mark kind of had so much more to deal with before he had a chance
Yeah.
to
He
confront
did.
Cecil
That's
about it.
entirely
He
that.
did.
And now he is so fucked up, it doesn't even matter at this point to him.
'Cause I've always been
he's
team
got bigger
Cecil.
problems.
Anything Cecil does, I'm like, that's the right decision. You're smart for that. Because it's controversial, a lot of stuff, but I think he's usually right. That's the one time where I was like, you fucked up. And I thought
Right.
there'd be consequences.
I do understand his point and why he kept Conquest alive. Obviously, it was a mistake, and even
Yeah.
Cecil knows that. And I like that it shows he's still human.
And he thought there were thousands of Viltrumites out there. So it's not, he's got one here. He might as well keep it alive for info.
Right. He
Yeah.
didn't know. So I mean, but as far
Flips
far
coin,
as
you know,
him
but, not the
facing
same thing.
consequences,
Two sides of
I-
the coin.
I completely get it. I just think at this point where Mark is as a character, what good does he even get out of it? There's so much more he has to worry about. Like
Yeah,
he
he's a little
needs
busy.
Cecil. Like what does it
Yeah, he
even
does.
matter?
That's a fair point. I didn't even think about that. He does need Cecil. That's honestly why he kind of needs him alive.
he
Like,
does.
if he doesn't have Cecil, because I agree. I was pissed. I was like, man, he should get fucking smacked, fucking thrown into the atmosphere just for
should.
keeping him alive. But, like, no, I agree. That's a good point that maybe getting rid of Cecil right now would have fucked him even more.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and then speaking of what Cecil can do, something that I was just confused about is in season 1, like, how do they not know the Viltrumites are there is my question. Like, in season 1, when Alan comes in the second episode, they say, we got a bogey coming in from deep space. Okay, Mark goes up and sees Alan there. They scan that he was out there. Then in the finale, Alan's coming back, and he says, sir, we've got someone coming in from deep space. And then Immortal's like, it's Omni-Man, and he flies up, and it's Alan. Again, they can know when someone's coming in from space.
Hell, even
40
when they-
Viltrumites
you're
show
right.
up on a
Yeah,
ship.
that's a good point. That's a
Even
good point.
when-
On a
even
giant
when-
fucking ship.
No,
Yeah.
but you don't even have to go that far back. Even in season 4, when Mark and Nolan and Oliver leave to go fight in this war, we see them leaving, and Cecil says this is the first time in 40, 50, whatever years that Earth
20
has been
years.
20, whatever it is, that Earth has been Viltrumite free.
Which also
So-
isn't true because Mark was on Thraxa with Nolan in season 2, so it doesn't make any sense why he said that.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
But I
That's
don't know.
I didn't even think about that. You're right, but
There's a lot of plot
Also,
holes,
Mark went to the
honestly.
moon in
and
season 3.
Cecil,
Like,
Cecil, yeah, but the moon's right there.
yeah.
I mean,
But
I
I
think
get
he
your
meant like
point.
leaving.
How
Earth.
does he scanned and he knew that ship was coming in with Omni-Man and Alan. How does he not know that 40 Viltrumites showing up on a huge giant ass ship are there?
I thought that. I do wonder if they'll explain next season how they were able to infiltrate Earth.
I think
like,
they probably
must
will.
have. Like because I thought the same thing.
Yeah, because they've been there for, I mean, at least a couple days. Like, Lucan's in the suit. Krieg's got a baddie on his arm. Like, what's going on? Anissa's getting
True.
catcalled.
Yeah, they haven't even noticed them.
I saw someone complain online, like, how does Anissa have earrings if their skin is impenetrable? And I was like, bro, have you ever heard of clip-ons?
Yeah, they're probably clip-ons.
Apparently
I was like,
they have not.
I can
They're
solve this
Viltrumite
one in like
earrings.
30 seconds.
Yeah, you were like,
Viltrumite earrings.
man. Yeah, they actually do sell them there. You know, Mark had that one phase where they were like, yeah, there's
At
one specific store.
At Viltrumart.
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 Viltrumart is so good. I'm gonna run to the bathroom really quick. I will be right back. But then, yeah, I
Damn,
think
brother can't hold it. We've seen
No,
that
brother
before,
can't hold
Jack.
it.
I do that. I
think
will shit my
brother
pants
can't
on the
hold
show.
well, we're definitely almost wrapping up.
Yeah.
I
Well, let
don't
me
know
write
if
this
you-
down just because we can keep discussing, honestly, for the next 3 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. No, we just sit here in silence while we wait
Yeah.
for Matt, you guys.
But yeah, those were really the only issues I had with this season were just questions. So again, it's not like an issue because they could be explained. It easily could be explained. Conquest could easily be a conversation next season. It's not a huge deal. I just love how this show continues to have like every plot point is talked about. Like everything comes up again. Like
Even if
Angstrom's-
it's not mentioned for a whole season. Like Angstrom really not even relevant to season 4, but he will come back.
Robot and Monster Girl they left after the second episode into the Flaxen thing, and they're gonna come back 100%.
Right, and I like that doesn't happen this season, and I do like that they're trying to get away for them to come back, and they just can't, and they have to give up.
It's
and
just too
Cece's
tough.
like, all right, yeah, I just, they're gonna have to find their own way home, and it's not because they want that to be the case. It's just they can't bring them back, and
I
so
know.
I like that this show does have a lot of ongoing storylines that continue from season to season, and even, it just makes the world feel so big. Right?
And-
like the world of Invincible feels so big that things come and go and we don't see it for a while, but they will come back.
Like that mummy that comes back every season. But this is the first season he wasn't in it. You remember that mummy?
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about
He's
that
been
guy.
in
And
every.
the last time we saw him in season 3, like
It was during the Invincible War.
yeah, it was like at the end, right? When he
Yeah. You know what? The mummy is in this season.
when?
The mummy is in the Herm episode.
Oh yeah, the mummy did make an appearance.
That's where Mark gets summoned from hell. He's in Egypt with that lady.
Oh,
The mummy
yeah,
takes
yeah.
a physical like form.
He takes
Because
the girl
he
and
was
he's like-
being,
So we
he
don't
was
see
being sexist
because we
the
see him
entire
do that.
time.
We see that happening. Like it was like at the end of like one of the episodes in season 3 when he was like they were going into the tomb. Remember?
That was
Yeah.
one of the Invincible variants was getting like taken by him, and then Immortal was fighting him.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Immortal took him, but
and then
his-
this is where he ended up in season 4.
I actually thought that was so funny because he was being so sexist. Then he was like, "Fine, I'll become a
Fuck
woman,"
it.
and then he fucking did it.
yeah. I forgot
I
about
was like,
that.
"God damn it!"
I got one more downside. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm complaining a lot, but I love the show. There's such nitpicks, but I don't buy. I don't like that they did an off-screen breakup for Debbie and Paul because I don't
I
think
agree.
I don't think
I
they
agree.
thought we would have bought
I
it
agree.
because they were
Yeah.
so good together and they acknowledged the way each other's lives are. And Paul was even pushing her like, "You are the space superhero mom. Like you can do whatever you want." I wouldn't have
Paul's
bought
just a great guy.
He's
yeah, I
the
wouldn't
best.
have bought that. I
wouldn't
wouldn't
have bought
have
it.
Here's
bought
the
either.
thing. It's not that I can't buy the breakup happening. It's hard to buy because we don't see it.
Exactly.
But the reasoning that she gives, like our lives are too different, and we've seen that kind of come into play with their relationship this season. So I could buy it, and I don't mind. Like I get the whole thing is time has passed. It's been 10 months. Like things
yeah,
have
we don't see Earth
changed.
for 10 months. Yeah.
Right, like things have
Yeah.
changed. But
right.
but I just think I don't know how you would show it, but I just think like you could definitely have made the point, okay, they really want to make this work, but their lives just are too different. And
Yeah.
we the audience are smart enough to understand that being reasonable and buy into that. But it's just hard to buy into, like you say, Jack, because it's just like they're together, they're going to move in together, and then 10 months later, they're broken up, and we don't
Yeah.
at least get to see
It
that
kind of
play
felt
out.
like a cop out. It was like
It
we
did.
really lost a
fair.
lot of emotional material on the table. I will give it that. I think, but I agree with you that if I saw it, I would have been like, "Fuck that! No, they should
Yeah.
still be together.
What
Fuck
the fuck's
that."
this? I
Yeah.
also, I don't think, I mean, Matt, you haven't read the comics, right?
No, I haven't.
So none of us have read the comics. I hope, like, I know some spoilers for the future because it's like, that's what happens
Yeah,
with comic
it's
readers,
Twitter.
which
It's
sucks.
online.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But, like, I do know that from the comics, Paul is apparently, like, not a good guy. So their
Oh.
breakup is believable in the comics because he like cheats on Debbie or something.
Oh,
So
shit.
so the problem is though with adapting something is they have to break up at some point. But
Yeah.
they made him a nice guy, so now we have like I don't buy it. I don't believe that this would actually
Well,
happen.
also-
They have to break
maybe
up.
next season they're gonna be like, "Oh fuck yeah, Paul cheated on you, Debbie." Like,
If
Mark
I was
finds
Debbie,
it
I'd be
out.
like, you know what? I've seen worse. My husband did worse.
Yeah.
Like it is.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That was
I
actually
mean,
Alan and Paul banging each other, not
Yeah.
Alan and his girlfriend.
That was the cheating. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Paul on the ship the whole time.
All right. Well, I think we should probably wrap this up. Does anyone have any last things they want to say about Invincible season 4?
Peak.
Yeah, it's fucking goated. Power scaling sucks in the show, but I don't care. I love this show so much.
Yeah, I agree.
Animation issues aside, for me, it is definitely returned as one of my favorite shows right now. Not like all time necessarily. Maybe
It's my
when
favorite
it's
show of
an-
all time.
I know it's
baby.
your favorite. I wouldn't
Yeah,
go that far.
I
It's
love
not my
it.
favorite show of all
It's so
time, but
good.
it is
definitely
a great
one of my
show.
favorites.
And seasons 2 and 3, like when I say that, I'm not trying to even say like they were still great. They were still like 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
But season 4 returned this to like my forefront of interest, if that makes sense.
I love that. I
Okay.
loved season 3, so I didn't even have any like.
I mean, I
Nothing
loved
wrong
the
with it.
ending, but the season as a whole, I was like a 9 to me, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
But no, this one returns it to like a 9.7, 9.8. Like this is, if it wasn't for the lazy animation, like there's literally a shot when like they're fighting. I think you guys even know what I'm talking about, like in the Thrag War at
Oh,
Veltrum.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
like the Nolan's head or like whoever it was, maybe
Just
I think it
a
was
drag.
Thaddeus's head, like turns into Paul at one point. Like
Oh,
for a
no.
split, it's like a split
That
second.
can't be real. There's
It
no
is. Go
way.
look. Yes, it is.
Yo,
I
Paul was
saw-
flying in space, bro.
I
It was
saw,
fucking. It was fucking. I'm like, bro.
the
you
Viltrumite
guys need-
disappear in the background.
I saw
Did you
that
see
too,
That
Yeah.
one I've seen.
So
Imagine
there are-
Thaddeus like pulled his beard off and it was Paul.
it's also
Like-
kind of. It's also
Just
kind
Paul
of
the
like
whole time.
ridiculous. Like they're like at one point they were like in the air and their capes, like not in space, but like in like an atmosphere, and the
Yeah.
cape is just still. It's like, bro, you
Well,
can't
even in
animate-
space, there was like wind.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't animate the wind in the cape. It's
It's
really.
a little ridiculous.
But animation aside, it's a great season.
It is.
I love it.
It is.
All right, so we'll be looking out for season 5 of Invincible next year.
next
We'll
March.
be back out. But in the meantime, let's wrap this up with some Seesaw.
Perfect.
Did you bring one with you, Matt? I forgot to remind you.
Of course. No, I know Seesaw. I got it
Oh,
locked in.
All right, so
I was
as a
actually going to
guest-
ask if I could go first because I do have to go. I have a crazy side plot. My dad, he is working at Phil Simms' house, and he texted me that he wants to go over there. So I want to get my Seesaw before I go. But
Perfect.
yeah. So
Is he able to leave while we're recording, or are we gonna have to pause?
who?
No,
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, he'll be fine.
Yeah,
Alright.
as long as that's okay.
I think so. I
Um,
might have to pause it, but we'll figure it out. After
Okay.
you do your season.
But all right, so my C is I'm starting Cowboy Bebop again. If you guys haven't watched that, I highly recommend it.
I haven't.
It is a short anime, but it is probably one of the highest regarded animes of all time. It is a really fun time. If Brandon ever listens to this part of the episode, he's been kicking my ass to finish that because I started it and watched. It's like 8 episodes long. I watched 3 and dropped it one time, and which is so in character for me. So I was like, shit. But I'm going back to that. I have very high hopes for it. And I also want to see the new Devil Wears Prada. That's something that I got on my will list. I'm going to see the first one this week with my mom. And something that I saw that I really liked. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Now I'm completely blanking. I guess I'll go with Mother Mary.
Get the
Mommy.
fuck out of here.
Yeah, you're like Jack's like, all right, get him
I'm
out, get him
kicking
out.
you.
No, I'll go with that. And I guess I'll go with I did see the Noah Khan documentary. Actually, I'll go with that. That
That was my
fire.
last week's.
I was
seesaw.
just gonna
Was it
say
last
yeah,
week's?
yeah.
That's fantastic. I just watched that. I love Noah Khan, as we were talking about before, Jack. I was crying throughout that. I was like, of course, no wonder I'm gonna love this documentary.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it was so good. He's just such a good down to earth artist, and I think that he deserves all the praise. He's so good.
Yeah, it was truly beautiful. I think if you guys, whoever's not even a fan of his music, you should still watch it because it's
Agreed.
it's great.
It's got so much emotional depth to it, and
Mhm.
like you get to see such a personal view of an artist that I've never seen before with someone that I like as much as him.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. But yeah,
completely
those are
agree.
my seesaws.
Yeah. Do you have to rush out of here right now?
I could probably. I'm waiting for my parents to text me, but when,
Yeah, here,
so
wait.
go for
We
it.
can
Go,
run
go.
through
I
these
want. I
seesaws.
want to go
Run.
next because I
All right.
want Matt to be here for mine.
Yeah,
There's
go
a
quick
big-
because
bet.
I could run through mine in 2 minutes. So
There's a theme to mine. Something I
Okay.
saw is not something I saw. I'm doing read red for this one.
Oh, read red. Okay.
I don't know how to
Something that
read.
Jack's like reading. What
the fuck is
fuck?
that?
He's like, what
Something
the
that
shit?
I
Subtitles?
read. I just finished Dungeon Crawler
Dungeon
Carl,
Crawler
the
Carl,
first book in the
baby.
series. Basically, it's about this guy who, like, Earth is decimated by aliens, and they're put in like this weird game show where they have to go through dungeon levels and fight like mobs and one another, and it's really cool, really fun. This was such an easy read. I had such a good time reading it. I think it's being adapted to a TV show. I think I read that at one point, like Seth MacFarlane is producing Dungeon Crawler Carl TV show. So I read the first book. It was so good. I love the characters. You have Carl, obviously. You have Princess Donut, the cat. You have Mordecai. He's my favorite so far. So really great book. I know, Matt, I told you you really
Yep.
should start this
I'm
series.
gonna start it soon. I have
Jack,
it over
if
there.
you learn how to read, you should read this too because it's really good.
Yeah, I ain't reading that shit.
And then, so that's something I read, and something I want to read. I actually started it. Is Carl's Doomsday
Oh.
Scenario, the second book
Perfect. And now I see the
in-
theme.
in the series. So this is
I
book
love it.
number 2. It's the continuation of the story. I think there are like 7 of them, maybe 8. There's actually a new one coming out in May.
Oh,
So
shit.
the next DCC book is coming out, but I'm, according to Goodreads, like 22% of the way through this. I'm really looking forward to finishing it. I might read a little bit more tonight. Maybe we'll see. But this is so fun. It expands upon the lore of this world, of this series, and I highly, highly recommend it. Dungeon Crawler Carl, Carl's Doomsday Scenario, and all the other ones that come after it. These are the only 2 I own so far, but man, what a series.
All right, I'm going to run through mine real quick. All right, something I've been watching is Eastbound and Down. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that show. It's fucking hilarious. Eastbound and Down, Danny McBride playing a baseball player who's like washed up and he's just the biggest asshole ever. It's the funniest show in the world. And then I'm going to finish Return of the King. I'm like an hour and a half through, which means I still have 3 fucking hours left.
Dude, you just gotta watch it in one go. What are you doing?
I can't. It's 4 hours long.
Oh
That's
my
too long
god,
for me
take
too,
one
Jack.
day
I'm
and
with you.
watch a movie.
I'm with you.
Dude.
It's too long.
But that's
4
the next
hours
movie
is
I'm going to
crazy.
finish. I'm like an hour and a half in, so I've so much left, but I'm going to finish it this week. Return of the King. So far, it's okay. It's fine. It's not, honestly, I like Two Towers better so far.
That's wild.
And
Return of the
Fellowship's the
King,
worst.
yeah.
Fellowship's a garbage movie, and that's my hot take. And that's all I
Yeah.
have to say. All right.
I think
So,
it's almost a worse take than at least I understand why you don't like Mother Mary. Like, I can really respect
This
why
one
that's
you
not for
can't.
you. Nah, man, I can't respect the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, fuck you.
I
All
just can't.
Listen, Matt,
All right, well,
thank you for
gents,
joining in. We
Jack.
appreciate you being here.
Pleasure meeting you. You were awesome.
Yes, dude,
I
no,
hope
you're
to
the
come on the
best,
pod
bro.
again, dude. This was an absolute blast. Thank you guys for having me again. This was fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Josh, you got anything to say before I end it?
Yeah, man. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And I just want to say thank you, Matt, as well. It's always great to have you here. Really look forward to you joining on a future episode soon. Everyone,
Hell yeah.
like, follow, subscribe, share with your friends and fellow film lovers, comment. We always love the support. We are going to watch The Last Emperor in 2 weeks. That is this week's Bible study selection. So thank you for joining us, Puyi, as always.
Thanks, Puyi.
Puyi, our boy. And tell Phil Sims that we say hi, by the way. Tell
I
him to
will.
tune into the
Genuinely,
Box Office
I'm
Dynasty.
going to pitch it to him.
Be like, yo, the
Tell him to check
BOD,
it out.
Phil. The
I will.
BOD. That's all, folks.
All right. Peace out, guys.